Hello, friends. This is Caden with another episode of Caden's Podcast. This episode is always brought to you by White Glove Carpet Cleaning. I'm going to do this a little bit different today. If you listened to the last episode, then you heard that I am doing a charity. I am collecting donations for a charity, and what I want to do for the next 6 weeks is do charity carpet cleaning for everybody. I want you to call me and I will come clean your carpets or clean your tile or whatever you need cleaned, and all of the profit from the job will go towards this charity. And if you are willing to participate, I am looking to raise a couple $1,000s for a family in need. I'll give you more details if you're willing to participate. I'm trying to keep it as much of a secret as I can up until the time it is to give the donation. So if you are interested in receiving carpet cleaning that will go towards a very generous charity, then I would love to help you out with that. Give me a ring on my Instagram or on my Facebook. Send me a message. You can call the number that I always post. It's 801-425-4618. Again, I'll come clean your carpets. I'll clean your tile. I'll clean your furniture, your rugs, whatever you have. And if you want your donation, the money for the job will go towards the charity. So, yeah, like I said, I'm trying to raise a couple $1,000s. I'll give you details upon inquiry, and we'll go from there. So please reach out if you would like to help out. Today's guest was very special. I had an old friend with me, Tanner Ellison from high school, who I haven't seen in quite a long time. He got in touch with me after hearing about the podcast and had some very valuable perspective, and he's such a beautiful human being. I'm really glad that we're back in touch and that I got to have a really good conversation with him. At the beginning of the episode, there's just a little bit of feedback you could probably hear right now because my Wi-Fi is so close to this new setup, to the recording box, the audio box. I fix it on later on. We have a few other technical difficulties. It's a really good episode. Give your attention now to Tanner Ellison. Johnson?
You need to get your guitar out and start playing the intro riff. You do it different every time, right?
No.
Oh.
I have it saved right here. You could see I have it saved, and then I'll just drag it to the beginning. Well, I do this record. I do us, and then you leave, and then I do the intro part, like my.
Oh yeah, like
my ads.
To Tanner today.
Yeah. Yep. And then I cut it, and then I put in the song. I was gonna do like a different song every month, or yeah.
Would
like
you speak in this way or like?
Yeah, front face it.
Front face.
Yeah, and like the logo is the front, so.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that sounds good. Can you hear yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
So yeah, I was going to try to write different songs, a different riff for every month or something, but I don't have the time to be that creative.
It's good. I like it.
You like it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. It took like 15 minutes, and it was, maybe you could say it was inspiration, and it just fell on me. So.
Oh.
Yeah, I was like, I gotta make a riff for my podcast, so that's what I made, and I was gonna make different ones. I have my youngest brother Cannon plays the drums, and I want him to make
no way.
Yeah, like a
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just like that though. I wanted it to just sound just like me.
I can't roll my tongue like that.
Yeah. Okay, dude.
That's cool.
I want to hear why you buzzed your head, if you don't mind talking about it.
Yeah. So it was on Saturday. I was gonna go to the Jazz game, and I was looking on sports clips, like where can I get a haircut as fast as I can. I have like 30 minutes to an hour to get my haircut done before the Jazz game, and I looked and there's like every place had like an hour wait. So I was like, okay, I'll go to Great Clips, like one bar lower. I'm okay with that. I go to the Great Clips and they had an hour wait, and I driven there, so I was already like starting to get frustrated. I'm like,
Because you need to cut before the Jazz game.
yeah. I
You need to be fresh.
was going to the Jazz game with my dad. I mean, I need to look fresh for
Yeah.
him, right?
I get it.
But so I drove like 10 minutes to the nearest Great Clips, and I essentially just had enough with it. I'm like, $20, like this isn't worth it. I could just use my clippers, for like my beard. So I did that, and I cut it a little bit longer than what you're seeing now. Like this is way short, right?
It's buzz, dude. There's no hair.
Like-
That's way short. Are you
like-
kidding?
Well, it's like, so I was thinking, okay,
Here, I'll
I'll
hold
do.
your mic.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, by the way, we're holding mics again today because now I lost the adapter that goes to the stand. And we're like not even using the table. So the stands don't even do shit right now. So we're holding our mics, and he just took his headphones off so he could show me his.
The play-by-play.
Yeah. So you tried cutting it yourself?
Yeah, I've done it before. I usually do like 3/8 inch, which is much longer than this. And so I was like, I'm just fed up with this. I'm like full of like frustration. I'm like, okay, just put on one of the clippers, and then I just started going for it. I'm like, okay, this is a little bit shorter than I thought. And I just finished up my haircut when in the back of my head, I was like trying to trim like right below here, like part of your neck.
yeah.
It's not really like your hair.
It goes way too long.
And I went up too high.
Oh.
And I was like,
no.
I like ran to my wife. I'm like, hey, will you like help me? Can you like fix this? Like kind of even it out or something? She's like, no, you got you gotta cut it all now. And she was so mad. She was like, you gotta cut it all now.
Oh
like-
my god.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. You shaped everything to 3/8? Everything, or were you doing the sides at 3/8 and then
I was
kept the
just gonna
top
do
long?
everything the same length.
And
Which turns out okay, but this was like without I forgot to put the clipper back on
when you did the back?
when I did the back.
Yeah, so
right?
it was
So it was just
bare.
like it was completely bare. I'm like, whatever, hair grows back, but
Yeah, hair grows back, dude. I shaved my head in 9th grade. 8th grade and 9th grade. Where'd you go to junior high? Fairfield?
Fairfield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to Legacy. And
Ooh.
in 8th grade, I always made fun of the principal. And at the end of the year, I can't even remember what I said to make fun of him. I wasn't a dick to the principal, but it was playful and it was funny. And then at the end of the year assembly, he called me in front of everybody and was like, if we can raise, $100 and donate it to a charity, we'll shave Caden's head. And I had no idea.
Oh.
And I was standing there and I'm like, I'm not gonna bitch now. So I was like, fucking let's do this. And I think we raised like $500. Like 8th and 9th graders were bringing down all of their money. It was hilarious. So I shaved my head in front of the whole school.
And then
we were
bold.
like, let's do this every year at the end of the school year. So we did it again in 9th grade, and then we never did it again.
You and who else?
Okay, first year I did it, and then I think Hayden Langston and Damon and I can't remember if anyone else did it again. I think maybe Hudge, and then we did it again the next year. Actually, I think Damon did it again the next year, and I was like, I don't want to do it again. I think that's how it played out. And Damon just kept shaving his head, just like that, dude. No
Ooh.
hair.
I feel like a monk.
I know, you look like a monk.
My wife said, you look like Walter White. I'm like,
But you need a fat stash now.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and you kind of look hard ass. You
Well,
could
dude,
you could pass.
my dog started barking at me. Like he thought I was like a robber.
Yeah, didn't recognize you.
Yeah.
Show up with a beanie like that and no hair. Yeah,
Yeah.
you'll pass.
Well, I had sunglasses on too. It was like a hood, sunglasses, and I was like, I had these tools in my hands, and he was like growling at me.
What kind of dog do you have?
I have a Australian cattle dog mix. He's more like he's like part cattle dog, part like raccoon, part deer. So
Whoa, Jesus!
so he looks like a raccoon.
Animal orgy, huh?
Yeah, I don't know what it is, dude. Like, yeah, because his fur is like it's called blue tick, but it's like black and white and kind of like what a raccoon would look like, I guess. He's a handsome boy though.
Good boy.
Yeah, he's if he was a raccoon, he'd be the most handsome raccoon.
How big is he? Is he like an Australian Shepherd?
So, have you ever seen? Yeah, he's taller. So that's why I don't know what he's mixed with, because like the Australian cattle dogs are like short, stubby.
Is a cattle dog a shepherd? The Australian Shepherd, or are they different?
They're different.
Oh.
The cattle dogs have like the pointy ears that stick up, and they're not. They don't have as much fur. They don't. It's not as long of fur. And they're usually like black and white or like tannish. But he can jump like crazy. That's why he's like part deer, because his legs are like just super thin and lean, and he'll jump like over me. Like, wow. It's crazy.
Like a terrier, like a Jack Russell Terrier.
But he's much bigger. Yeah, he's like
bigger.
A medium-sized dog.
Like a deer, like a fucking deer.
Yeah. Dude, I'll throw the
tail.
ball for him, and he'll like hop over things like a deer, like bouncing back and forth.
That's sick. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Where did you get him?
Humane Society.
Rescue.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. We were looking for a dog, and my wife was like, she has this talent where she can just go in to any pound or like Humane Society, and she'll like be able to find the dog that she's looking for and the dog that's looking for her, sort of thing. Like, she's done this with 3 dogs already. And so she has like built up a pretty strong rapport of this, and she went into Humane Society and immediately found him and was like, okay, this is the guy. I was like, all right,
that's fun.
like, I trust you. So yeah,
wow,
he's been cool. A really good dog.
Awesome.
Like,
I've always wanted a dog when I can have my own house and then train it the way I want to train a dog. Like, I can't train Connor's dog the way I want to because it's not my dog.
He knows you're not his owner.
Well, I don't want to. It's like your parents trying to parent me because they know what's best for me, right?
Yeah.
But you know, I'm not saying Connor can't raise his dog, but I definitely would do it differently, and not that it's better or worse. But I don't. So, anyway, I guess I want to have a dog that I can train to be insanely obedient and do really fun tricks, and you know, be a really, really pleasant animal instead of a wild animal. You know what I mean? Do you know the difference?
Yeah.
So I've thought about going to the pound or to find these rescue animals, and I've always thought that was like the risky option. You want to go to breeders and find those kind of dogs.
See, I don't know, cause so my wife's Caitlin. I don't think you've met her, but she has like a couple tips.
What's her maiden name?
Verbitsky.
We didn't go to school with her?
No, she went to Northridge.
I don't think I know her.
Yeah. But to find the dog, she'll like make sure the dog isn't barking at her when she goes into the pound or the Humane Society, whatever. And then she knows you got to get him early, like young. Like we got Freddie, the one I was talking about, when he was 6 months or something. And you got to get them young before they're like trained to just or they've had like some horrible accident, which is tough. Okay. I mean, there's a place for people to adopt those dogs too, but we were looking for a puppy, and so it's a lot easier to train a dog when they're younger. Okay, that makes sense. Age makes a big difference. Yeah. So you can do it. You just gotta, and I don't know how breeders go, but just get them early. I know they're way more expensive. And then I guess you get verification that they're
if you want a
Healthy.
purebred and healthy, right? You get
Yeah.
all, but then you pay for that. So whatever. Some people don't
Yeah.
care about that. I don't know shit about buying dogs, but I just this is all I know is what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I want a fun Australian Shepherd or a golden retriever or like a classic American dog like a retriever.
Mm.
And have it be my number 2, or I guess would it be my number 1 if it's my companion?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He'd
my
be your
number 1.
one.
Yeah, he's my number 1. But I'm number 1, but he's also my number 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's fun, dude.
Yeah.
I
I think golden retriever would be good because they think they're human, and they tend to I think they tend to not like other dogs, but they love a lot of humans, and they're those kind of dogs. They're dedicated to you.
Yeah.
And want to spend time with you only.
They're like the picture perfect family dog.
Yeah.
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 I used to have a golden retriever, but my family's got a terrible track record for dogs. For pets. We just will get a dog and then it'll be gone within 3 months. It'll be resold. We'll get like my pet. Yeah. My whole life, we've had probably maybe close to a dozen pets, a dozen dogs in my lifetime. And growing up, I was told they were dying or they were running away. When I am learning now that my family just would sell them because we can't, because it's tough to have pets when you have 4 kids already. So they already had 4 pets. My parents.
That's probably best for the dog in some cases.
Yeah.
But it's probably tough for you guys.
Well, it sucked, but whatever. We got Bailey now, and Bailey's the best.
Yeah. That's good.
Dude, I'm glad that you wanted to come out here and do this because I listened to Josh's episode Tesh
Great.
with Mormon Stories.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know, but I love Mormon Stories. I already have been listening to them for a long time. I love John Dehlin and all that he's trying to do with inside the Mormon community, outside, inside the post-ex-Mormon community, that whole thing. So,
yeah.
And then it was really fun to hear. So for everybody that doesn't know, Elder Tesh was a missionary in my mission who I served with, not as a companion, but I was around him for probably 3-4 transfers, so 6 months before he went home. And he told his story about being on a mission and then going through a faith crisis on his mission, and what that led to going home after going home. Anyway,
Ooh, yeah.
It was an awesome, it's a devastating story. Honestly, I didn't know that. I don't want to spoil it, but
yeah,
I didn't know he got sent home dishonorably.
Right.
As a apostate is the word they used. Sent home as an apostate.
Oh wow.
Yeah. For doubting, for saying that he didn't know if he believed in what he was doing.
Right.
And then he was also active on some Facebook on the Mormon Stories Facebook page, I think.
Yeah, I think that's probably how he got on the podcast.
Yeah. He may have had contact with some people on there. Anyway, there's a fascinating story, but I want to know more about your story because I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, why don't you tell everybody about all of 4 of our listeners about you and who you are and where you come from.
I come from Layton, Utah.
Nice.
Without the T.
No, there's definitely a T in there.
Is there?
Yeah. Right after the Y and before the O.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was raised LDS about half of my childhood. What exactly do you want me to go more into
you're not in the church anymore.
Right.
So,
I can go through that story.
Yeah,
or
why
if
don't you tell us? What was your family life like growing up,
yeah,
as far as church goes? Your whole family active, born into the church.
yeah,
Your parents.
yeah. My parents were both heavily active. They were like primary school teachers. I would go with them every week. Sometimes we'd like buy stuff on Sundays if that helps paint the picture.
Yeah.
Um, I was kind of from day one always like I gotta be honest, I gotta be right, you know. I gotta be doing the right thing, obeying the law, so to speak, regardless of whether that was like church related. Um, but I was like pretty heavy on like following church rules and being obedient. Um, I our family kind of didn't have like such a hard edge on like, oh, you got to read your scriptures, you got to come to family home evening, you got to there wasn't ever any rules around like going to church. In fact, um, around the age of like maybe 10, 11 or 12, my parents kind of stopped going to church. And like for me, I was like, oh, this is very refreshing. Like I'm kind of sick of going to church, you know, like it was just too much. I hated church clothes. Um, as a kid, you're just like, I don't want to wake up early and
No, who wants to do it?
be hungry and yeah.
Yeah.
So
Do you know why your parents stopped going to church?
that's the strange thing is that I really don't know why. Um, I know there was a lot of things they were struggling with in in our family. Um, we recently had one of my dad's brothers committed suicide. And as a kid, I didn't know anything really about it. They kind of tried to like keep me out of all of that. But I think that made a profound effect on my dad's family as a whole and on him. I think they're like the church at the time. I don't know if they have like new doctrine or guidance, but they didn't really have like anything to deal with that. And it was more like suicide is like a very evil thing. Like it's bad for like it's not good for you in the afterlife, essentially, if you've committed suicide or something like that.
Yeah, it's a negative thing.
Right.
Yeah, there's no positive out of it.
Right.
And it can only hurt your eternal salvation. I guess
Yeah.
that's how I saw it. Yeah.
That's
I
as
saw it
far
the
as
same way.
I tried to understand it when I was a teenager, but I think with that, I think my family struggled with like coming to terms with that and being able to reconcile or put the two ideas of, oh, my brother was a great person, he had a lot of ups with a lot of his downs, and do I really believe that he deserves some sort of punishment in the afterlife? I don't know. This is really hard to grapple with.
Yeah, I actually don't know what the church would say. I'm sure it's mostly condolence and sadness. I don't know if there's like a I
know.
really don't know if there's like a this is going to happen if to you in the next life if
Right.
I think it's just like I think for me it was mostly like I don't want to do it because it's gonna it's I don't ever want to kill myself. I don't want my family to kill themselves because it's just a sad thing anyway. And so I think I automatically associated that with it must be a sin. It's got an essence of a sin, and I don't know if it actually is. Maybe it is. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know either.
Probably because I actually thinking about it. I mean, I remember thinking that your body was a gift. Your body's a gift from God, and then if you're going to take that gift away, then then it's sinful in nature. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunate, but okay. I sorry to drag it on.
No, yeah. And I'm sorry to be brief about it all, but I think that's me thinking through like, okay, why were they not really going to church?
Yeah, talk it out.
And I didn't know as a kid, and I still don't really know why
They're not active anymore still?
Yeah, neither of them are. I think completely not at
Are they
all.
married still?
No, no. They were divorced um in when I was in high school. So,
Mm.
but yeah, so around the age of 8 to 12 they stopped going, and I as a kid I loved it, whatever. We moved into a new ward some years after that, maybe when I was 12, 13, and it was kind of exciting, and my parents wanted to go see the new neighbors and stuff like that, um, and kind of see what the new ward was built out of, like who's the bishop, so on. And I started getting back into like, oh, there's all these kids I can hang out with and talk to, um, and there's all these new things you can do in the church when you're 12, and when you get older than that. So I was like, oh, this is cool, and so I started going for my just to like hang out with friends, and my parents would kind of come with me just to be kind and like support me in my kind of own journey, religious journey or spiritual journey, what so not. So
And that's what, and then this is all through high school.
yeah, so then this continued from um, probably 12 or 13 on through high school. Um, by high school, I was going just by myself for my own reasons.
How did that make? Were you going with no siblings?
No siblings. My little brother, he got a free pass out of church, like completely,
He was too young to have gone.
to have gone when I was going,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
And then when they stopped going, they're like, "Hey, you don't have to go."
Hmm.
And he was like, "Yeah, I'm totally down with that." And he never wanted to join, and he's never liked it at all.
What was it like on your relationship with your family, with you going through high school?
They supported me.
No
They
problem.
they were just like I said. I like since I was a kid, I was like, I gotta follow the rules. Like I've always been pretty obedient. So my parents were always like pushing me to like go out and explore and be a little like be a kid, make mistakes, sort of thing. So they were like, oh, you don't have to go to church if you don't want to. I'm like, I want to, but
Hmm.
yeah.
That's awesome. You went back to church. Was your parents' divorce? What was and I've this should be obvious, but you don't have to talk
Mhm.
about anything that you don't want to talk about.
Oh
If
yeah,
I'm stepping any lines, yeah, just
I
say
won't
so.
talk about something if I don't.
I figured
to.
you wouldn't, but you don't. Yeah, you can make that clear if I'm
Yeah.
stepping any lines. So, what kind of impact did your parents' divorce have on you in high school? What grade was it? What year?
It was like junior year.
Okay, that's about the same. That's probably a year after my parents got their divorce.
Oh wow,
Yeah, I was a sophomore.
and I didn't even know that.
Oh
And
yeah.
like we were friends.
Well,
I didn't even really know.
because who wants to talk about it in high school?
Exactly.
Yeah, no one. I didn't know that about your parents. That's why
I
I
didn't
asked.
tell anyone.
No,
to be
no one wants to
honest.
talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks, especially for, well, you hear, oh, it's worse on the children under 12, or it's worse on the adolescent kids that are 16. But like, it just fucking sucks for everybody. Nobody
Yeah.
wants to go through a divorce. It's not good for any age. I mean, I was 16. I had my twin brothers were 14,
Okay.
and my youngest brother was 8. And my
That's
youngest,
all the different ages.
yeah, we're all over the spectrum. My youngest brother, as he was growing up, my parents were separated, and were going like pre-divorce stages stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, he never really had a both parents in the home kind of situation anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, yeah, it just sucks. It sucks for everybody.
Yeah.
Did you maintain a relationship with both of your parents after their divorce?
Sadly, no. Regretfully, no. I was still living with my mom, and I couldn't come to terms with it. Like I was kind of in like a denial phase at that point, so I kind of stayed away from my dad, I guess. And he tried to give me space too. I think he was trying to be nice and like give me space because he knew I was I was upset. with the whole situation. But yeah.
To this day, still no
Oh,
contact.
we're good now.
You're good now.
Yeah, like we
Good.
went to a Jazz game
That's
last
good.
Saturday.
Oh shit!
So,
Yeah, you're fucking cut your hair for your dad now.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
forgot. Yeah. No, that's good. I was the same way.
Oh yeah.
I didn't like officially cut my dad out of my life, but I was making decisions that alluded to that. I didn't want to go see him. I didn't want
Yeah.
and I didn't want the custody thing. I just wanted to stay at home with mom and
Right.
where my
Same.
stuff was and where my friends were, and it was easier. And he's the reason this divorce is happening, and
Yeah.
it's not fair to mom and that whole thing.
Wow.
So
This
yeah.
is weird. I've never like talked to anyone that's had like such a similar experience.
yeah, I'm glad you can relate. I don't think it's very uncommon.
That's
I
true.
think actually divorce itself is a lot more common than I think. I think I read something a little while ago that it was a stat for 2018 where one of two marriages
Right.
end in divorce.
Yeah.
And that doesn't include, or that's not talking about the marriages where the couples split up or where there's discontent in the house. Discontent? That's a word.
Oh.
Where things aren't pleasant in the home. There's fighting, there's arguing.
Yeah.
Like the couple's not happy, but they stay married for the kids. Like that's not that statistic. I think
Right.
I would assume that probably happy marriages are around like 20% of marriages, 25, 30% are happy marriages.
Mm.
And then 30% are dissatisfied marriages, but they're still married. And then the other rest of it is divorce. I would assume
Yeah.
that's probably how that statistic is broken down, which is,
Some grim chances there.
it's shocking.
It's hard to come up.
Yeah, it's shocking. So,
Yeah.
divorce sucks, but I think what I wish I would have done growing up was talk about it more. Because now
Really?
oh yeah. Well,
In hindsight,
now,
right?
yeah, in hindsight, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm happy talking about it now that I'm healthy.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
I did not want to talk about it when I was depressed. It's
Yeah.
hard to talk about. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to explain how I was feeling. I was a teenager that was.
Yeah.
It's
To
just-
me, it was like embarrassing.
Yeah.
That was the biggest thing. I'm like, I don't know. I didn't want to tell anyone because it's embarrassing for myself. Like, I don't know.
Everyone else is still married. All of my friends' parents are still married.
Right.
It sucks that my parents are divorced.
Yeah.
However, I did have the thought about 2 Christmases, and that sounded nice.
Too
Now
good.
it's not very nice because Christmas is twice as long,
Right.
and now my dad is remarried, and now I got to do things with but I do things with her
Mhm.
family. So now it's 3 times as long as normal
All
for
right.
Christmas as an adult, and that's exhausting.
That is.
Um,
Oh man.
not worth it. Not worth the divorce.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I hear you, brother. Right there.
Thanks, man.
It's a real thing, and but you're in a good place now.
Yeah. Things are still pretty tough for like just there's still some, I guess, like family tension. I think things still aren't good between them, and it makes it really hard for like especially my younger brother. It's hard for me to like try and cooperate with all that and like try and find my way on how to help. And it's also hard for me to really keep growing like my relationships with my parents or my dad, just because there's always like something else kind of in the way.
Still?
Yeah.
Mm.
And it's not about the divorce. It's just so my little brother, he's 5 years younger than me, and I think the divorce really hit him hard compared to me, where like my parents, when they divorced, they both like took on their own parenting style, and so he's been like trying to deal with both of those. Like my mom, who's like, hey, like here's some rules, and my dad who's like, Like there's rules, but a lot less rules, and it's hard for him to like figure out what he wants to actually do. Or, yeah.
Sorry, I keep fidgeting, dude, but
No,
I
we're
can
good.
hear a little.
I can hear that too.
I don't know where it's coming from.
I swear my phone's off.
I believe that your phone's off. I think it's coming from the Xbox. I'm just gonna unplug it. Or it could be from the Wi-Fi box. I don't know, man. I mean, it's very subtle, but it's there. Sorry, everybody, if you can hear the clicking. I don't know how to fix it. I'm no fucking technician. But I feel like it comes and goes. Anyway, all right. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, we're good.
How's your brother now? He's 19. I would guess he's 19 if he's 5 years younger.
Yeah. He's up and down. He's got a job. That's good. He kind of struggles with a lot of things. Mental health, especially.
That's tough.
Yeah.
It's a real thing.
Yeah. It's intense. The hardest thing for me about it is it's like, as much as I want to help, it's very difficult for me to help and still like keep myself healthy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I can't be the therapist.
Like be his happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I try to be there for him, but sometimes when like the storm's brewing, I can't really do much to help him out, and it will like wear me down to really try and just address the things that happens to him, you know.
It's gone.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's the Wi-Fi. Sorry, everyone. I got it though. But now we have no Wi-Fi. He doesn't go to church.
No.
Yeah, dude. I think I don't think I've ever been clinically depressed, but I've definitely had insanely low lows.
Really?
And yeah, I don't think it's anything abnormal. I definitely don't think or I don't stack up with somebody that's clinically depressed or needs medication or consistent therapy. But you know, I get sad. People get sad. But I know people that do feel that way, who need therapy regularly,
yeah,
and need medication.
Yeah.
And even still, sometimes it doesn't. I mean, sometimes somebody is chronically ill that way. It's very unfortunate. So
it's a long-term thing.
Yeah. I wish there was some easy remedy for it, but yeah, I don't think you. Well, I'm glad that you don't feel like it's your responsibility to fix, but you probably feel that way a little bit as a bigger brother.
Right.
Yeah. Man, that sucks. That's hard.
It's like, what could I do different, or what could I have done differently?
Yeah.
You know, because with the whole situation, I think I was dealing with it my own way, and I closed myself off from everyone in my family to kind of like protect myself, and I was kind of off doing my own things. I was pretty busy with school and work, but I think the tough part about it, like looking back, is like, oh, I really could have been more supportive to him during that process, you know.
Yeah. But you just do better now. Yeah, you just do better now.
Yeah.
Okay, so you are in high school, going back to church, and it's kind of mostly for a social scene. And was there a big spiritual drive behind it? Like,
yeah,
you needed to be there.
Yeah, like I was really enjoying all the concepts, all like reading, listening to talks and the young men's leaders who, like, I really enjoy and really appreciate to this day. Like, I've always respected them. So for the social scene, it was more like I liked having that support group, you know, and like just friends in general outside of school in like different ages. Like Josh Tesh, he was like just an awesome role model.
He was in your ward?
Yeah, he was in my ward.
Oh.
His dad was our bishop.
Oh.
Yeah.
His dad was a bishop.
Yeah,
Oh
a
man.
great bishop. Yeah, he was a really good guy.
Hmm.
Um, yeah,
So you didn't go on a mission.
I didn't.
You went to Dixie State instead.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right. Why didn't you go on a mission if through high school? Because I felt like through high school was like the deciding factor.
yeah,
And if you were having this big spiritual interest,
yeah.
what happened there?
The spiritual interest kept going and going. Um, I got into. I just. I was taking it very seriously. I think that's that's how things started happening. You know, I went to seminary all 4 years, um, ninth grade through 12th grade.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was taking all that very seriously. I was trying to figure these things out. Like, it was like concepts, and spirituality has always been very interesting to me. I've always wanted to try and get behind the philosophy of it all too. Um, and so I was branching out past the scriptures. Um, I was reading certain LDS books, like Why the Church is as True as the Gospel, um, some like sort of Mormon authors that aren't like, it's not like official church publications or anything.
But it affirms church doctrine.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I was going on just a lot of other, like learning more about other religions and stuff. So at some point, I couldn't say for sure, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm not for sure that I believe in all of this. And I think after high school, and I decided, look, I'm going to go to college, and I'm still trying to figure this out. I'm not ready to say, all right, I know all this is true, and I really want to dedicate myself to teaching this to other people.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to keep trying to figure this out. And I think once I got to college, and especially moving down to St. George, it was kind of like everyone else was on a mission. I was on my own and left to be myself, essentially. And so I just decided, like, actually, I don't know if this stuff is real. I don't, you know what I mean?
While you were away.
Yeah.
What did that turn into? Where did you go from there? This is all kind of came up, seems like, from the intellectual part of your brain.
Yeah.
And you wanted hard facts, answers, and clear as day answers, not necessarily spiritual affirmation.
No, not necessarily like hard facts. I think where it was coming from was I wasn't getting the emotional side of it still. You know, and I was getting that, like, maybe when I was younger. And I realized, like, you don't need the hard facts. Like, that's not the point of being in a religion, I think. I think everyone understands, like, oh, you know, maybe this stuff in the Bible isn't necessarily like 100% like historical truth.
That's how I took it. I took
Really?
it all literal for a little while. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
As I started intellectually thinking about it, I was like, this is why would they not be true? If it's so important, why would? And then you learn a lot of it's storytelling. It's
right,
and it's fables, parables, but the meaning behind all of it is what's important, and the spirituality behind it is what's important.
Yeah. Well, I was comfortable with that though.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah, that's fine. As long as people acknowledge that's what it is.
yeah.
Most of it. Like, most of the Old Testament is stories.
Right.
Sorry to go a little tangent.
No,
I
we're
did
good.
a poll on Instagram a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And
I answered on
about
that.
Noah's Ark.
Yeah.
I asked people if they thought Noah's Ark was literal or fictional.
Mm-hmm.
And it was overwhelmingly people voted literal.
Oh, wow.
And not that I think that's wrong. I don't know.
Well,
I think
yeah.
I think looking at it now, I think it's ridiculous to think. The way I understood it was the whole world was covered by water, and there was actually not. That's not only what I thought, but that's what the scripture says.
Mm-hmm.
I reread the Genesis 4-9. I think is the story of Noah's Ark.
Oh wow.
The whole world was covered, and only Noah, his wife, his sons, and their wives, the only humans that survived, and the animals that came on the ark. The whole world was covered. The whole world was covered. It rained for 40 days, 40 nights. Hey, I'm recapping this because I didn't know. I forgot it for a long time, and now I got to remind myself.
This is helping me. I
Okay.
haven't heard this story in a while.
Yeah. This is what it says as far as I remember correctly. It rained for 40 days, 40 nights, and then it was the earth, and then it stopped raining, but the earth was actually covered for another several months, maybe even a couple years, while they lived on the ark, kept sending birds out to find dry land, the whole thing, and then eventually the floods went away, and then they had to start all over for... Sorry.
No, we're
it's
good.
that tomato soup coming back. Yeah. And I'm not going to say that didn't happen because I don't know, but I think it sounds pretty ridiculous. So,
yeah.
Stories like that, stories like Jonah and the whale, and it's like Job, the whole story of Job. It's just like it's cool, like the idea, the quality of the story is amazing, but as far as history goes, I think it's ridiculous. So,
yeah.
That being said,
yeah, I think you have to look at those stories, whether they were historically true or not, and think about like the meaning behind it. And I think that's why they're still around and people are still talking about them. One thing that's helped me kind of reconcile with religion has been Jordan Peterson. Have you heard about him?
Maybe. I think it sounds familiar.
He's popular on YouTube for a Bible series. He has like these 2-hour-long lectures on each of the Bible stories, and it's more about the psychological significance of these stories, and going into the story and like breaking it down. Okay, why was there 2 of each animal, and how is that significant for a story that's been told thousands of times and reiterated across thousands of years, he's kind of helped me like see these stories, whether they are true or not, just see them for the beauty that they are and the helpfulness that they are.
Are they... Sorry, I can hear the dog now.
Oh, we're good.
Everybody's trying to ruin our podcast, and so is the internet.
Internet?
I'm sorry if I seem distracted.
We're good, dude.
I just want it to be perfect for you, man. I want to give you a great experience.
I want to give you your podcast a good episode, so we're good.
Yeah, I actually didn't see anything from... when I was rereading the Noah's Ark tale, I was looking online for pasture stories. And I don't know if I ran into Jordan Peterson or Peters. Jordan Peterson.
Jordan Peterson. Yeah.
But it sounds like he's some kind of pastor, or
no,
he's just an intellectual.
He's a professor from Canada. He's got an amazing record for just being an educator, a researcher. He's done a lot of crazy stuff, like, but yeah, he's taking it from... He's been a psychiatrist for like 20 years or something like that. So he's more on the educational, secular side of the Bible. But he goes through all of these things he goes through all these stories and tries to make sense about them and why they were created.
All the Bible stories.
Yeah, all the Bible stories. in a way that's not just like, was it true or was it not? He doesn't even like try to address that. He's just like, okay, these stories have been played out across time in many different ways. Like all the Disney movies, just they're analogous to Bible stories. Harry Potter, is essentially has the same story as Jesus Christ. Have you ever thought about that?
Is Harry Jesus?
Yes. In that scenario. Yeah.
Is Voldemort Satan?
I don't know. I don't know if he's Satan, because Satan doesn't really crucify Harry, right?
Not literally, but maybe figuratively.
Yeah, figuratively. I mean, you got to think about it. Harry dies, and comes back to life.
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
I haven't seen the last 3 movies. I stopped
Really?
at 7. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Or they made 2 7s? How does that work?
They made 2 7s.
I haven't seen either of those.
Wow.
Or I did once, but I watched them at like 2 a.m. and don't remember anything.
Yeah.
What's the professor's name? The big guy with the big white beard. Not Hagrid. No, I'm not big
Hagrid.
guy, not Hagrid, but like the lead wizard.
Oh, dude.
Who's the
I'm blanking on this.
that Snape kills? What's his name?
Starts with, dude, I'm blanking.
I want to say Ganondorf. Ganondorf, but that's Zelda.
Yeah.
You
Man.
can't
People are
remember
gonna be
either?
so mad. They're all your 4 listeners are screaming at you right now.
They're like, it's fucking so and so.
Yeah.
Hold on, I gotta find this out.
Yeah.
Who is? How would you even find out who that is? What do you Google? Who
This is hilarious.
The lead professor, lead wizard?
I don't know why it's on the tip of my tongue. I don't know why I can say Harry Potter's like Jesus Christ and not know the head professor.
Dumbledore.
But
I didn't even get it. I got Harry. He's the lead wizard, I guess, but it's Dumbledore.
Yeah.
So I wanted to say, is Dumbledore Jesus Christ or God? But now the joke is stupid because I couldn't think of his name.
Well, he meets Dumbledore when he quote unquote dies.
When Harry dies.
Yeah.
Harry dies in which episode? Which movie?
The last one.
And then comes back to life?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Just so surprised you haven't seen it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I don't remember it.
There's so many similarities. And I'm not just saying this because like I pieced it together myself and I've been sketching it out. Yeah. I have like pins on my wall and like connecting pictures of Harry and Jesus.
Like that meme with that guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what the author said herself. She said, if you were to read the New Testament, you would know exactly how Harry Potter ends. She said that like before, maybe not before, but she said that at some point. That was like one of her big inspirations for kind of crafting that story, so to speak.
Have you ever heard that Star Wars is like the George Lucas was inspired by Mormons and wrote Star Wars based on like
no,
Mormon
I haven't
principles.
heard
Have you
this.
heard that?
No,
I
how
think
does
it's
that go?
total baloney.
Oh, okay.
And somebody told me that in high school. And I was
It's
like,
baloney.
Oh my God, it is. No, that it was real. That George Lucas based Star Wars on Mormonism, with like the Force is the spirit,
okay,
and like good and evil, and there's all of the parallel. It's all parallels.
Yeah.
It's stupid. Now it's stupid. But have you ever heard? You never heard that? Star Wars.
Never heard that.
Mormons. Yeah, I've heard that a few times from a few people, and I still respect them. Don't worry.
Yeah. You gotta.
So okay. So back to your story.
We've been jumping all over the
We're
place.
in you're watching YouTube videos.
Yeah, I watched a lot of YouTube in my
And
life.
you were like, maybe the whole Mormon church isn't what it's cracked up to be?
I was trying to follow my mind and my heart as much as I could and be like completely honest with myself. Maybe and so I was exploring like a lot of different ideas like my mind is just kind of always buzzing and just like absorbs a lot, especially like philosophy and spirituality was what was very interesting to me at that time. Um, so at some point, I'm going through these scenarios in my head. I'm trying to go. I did try to go to missionary prep. Something you do with your ward, right?
Yeah, before you go on your mission.
Yeah.
Before they send you to the MTC. It's
Yeah.
like pre-MTC.
I think that was my last like battle to try and like be a part of it, you know. So I got like the pamphlet and I was reading through it and trying to like, I was trying to be ready for like a mission and ready to take on all of the religion's commitment. I was trying to be committed, but I knew I had to like know for myself,
Mm-hmm.
And I could just never really get there. And I think it turned out for the best for myself.
Why do you think you never got there?
I don't know. I can't pin it down to any one thing. Do you know? I've listened to all your podcasts, but
Thank you. You're one of my four. You're one of
Yeah.
the four listeners. One of the four listeners is with me today. That's nice.
But was there a catalyst, would you say, for your like, whoa, like was there a point in
For
time
why
where
I
you're just like, this isn't what it was? Like,
no, I talked about it in that one episode by myself, and I think the simplest way to say it was I am more concerned with I became more concerned with myself as a person and the decisions I was making, rather than trying to do what an organization or a religion was telling me to do. And my decisions they changed. I went from believing everything because it was the truth to questioning it and challenging it. Not questioning it like, oh, now nothing's true, but actually trying to validate the things that I had told myself and that I was being told. And a lot of it checked out and a lot of it didn't. And it didn't bother me initially, but I eventually just started like, yeah, I don't want to go to church anymore. And now I love not going to church, so I'm not going to go back to church.
Mm-hmm.
And well, now I'm missing out on the sacrament, but is the sacrament even legit? And like, I'm not keeping my temple covenants, but is the temple covenants even legit?
Oh wow!
It became like a tower crumbling down.
Okay.
And
did that? How did you feel when that was happening? You're like, I know, like, yeah.
It wasn't the discovery that was challenging. It was what I was going to do with it, because then I just stopped. I had been a part of this organization my whole life. I had dedicated 2 years to it. I had knew the doctrine so well, and whether it was difficult or whether I didn't agree with it, it just was the truth. Like, I remember while I was on my mission, I don't know if I talked about it, but while I was on my mission, the church announced that children couldn't be baptized if their parents were gay.
Yeah, that was...
Yeah, same-sex parents. And then that happened, and I remember thinking, well, all right. I justified it, or it made sense to me by saying, how could a kid be brought up in a religion that contradicts the lifestyle in the home, which I still agree with. I don't think that's right. But then the church, within the same calendar year, had reversed the rule.
Oh, really?
It was either within the calendar year or within a whole year. It was not a long time that it stood, because it was outrageous. It was just an outrageous thing. But even as a missionary, I was like, this is just God at work with his prophets. Now, to me, it's his prophets doing whatever they want, and maybe trying to do the thing that is right for these kids, doing the thing that's right for the organization as a whole.
Yeah.
I won't discredit that, but to me, the problem is, I don't mean to get way into it, but the problem is saying that they're receiving all of this revelation, that they're in direct communication with God, when they are their own humans
Mm-hmm.
who are trying to be inspired, and they're trying to be do these magnificent good things,
Yeah.
but then they give the credit to something that doesn't exist, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a single event. It was like, oh, that doesn't make sense. Oh no, that doesn't make sense either. Oh, none of it makes sense.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't challenging. What's challenging now is being so forward with it by doing a podcast,
Yeah.
talking about it with
props
other
to you,
people,
man.
and losing friends and
Yeah.
relationships over it, which isn't the end of the world. I have better quality relationships now, for sure, with
Yeah.
the people that are in my life. Absolutely. Yeah. So it's definitely been a good thing, but there have been bumps. So
Yeah. That reminded me. I'm glad you brought all that up, because it kind of helped remind me, like, one turning point, which is, there were a lot of changes. There's the part of the church that's like this is what's coming from the prophet, and here's the new revelations that we're getting, and to me, that's, in my mind, I see that as like, okay, here's the humans trying to aspire to something greater than themselves, so to speak. But then there's like the scripture and the spiritual side of things, the things that as a concept are more perfect. They're not scathed by human error and all the things that sucks about being a human.
right,
So
they're infallible. The scriptures are infallible,
so to speak.
so to speak.
The ideas,
Right.
and there was some point in high school where I was reading, I believe I mentioned the book. It was Why the Church is as True as the Gospel, and that's how they split it up, was the church and the gospel. And that that was me trying to, like, come to terms with the fact that those two things seem different, and people are different at church than you'd think they'd be, and we're not very good at religion, so to speak,
Yeah.
right? Like, a prophet or a bishop could do something wrong. They're going to make mistakes, so to speak. And I was trying really hard to put those two ideas together, but I could never do it,
Oh yeah.
Just like how you were saying, it's like, it's hard when they come out and say one thing and then reverse it,
Yeah, it's
very hard to deal with.
Well,
I think if you're trying to pursue those ideas,
even with this some people would call it a scandal that the church has done with the $100 billion. Do you know much about the $100 billion?
no.
It's been stockpiled. It's all I know, or that I've read, is the church has been collecting their donations, and they have been distributing them to I don't know the technical term, but like companies that the church owns, to smaller companies,
Investors or something like that, right?
That's owned by the church, and they have a nonprofit. They have a nonprofit business called Ensign P something, Ensign something.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nonprofit. It has nonprofit tax exempt status, and they are investing money from that business and withholding funds and stockpiling funds, and have acquired $100 billion of untaxed dollars. I'm pretty sure that's the simplest way to accurately say it. And it's completely illegal, and I haven't seen any follow up on it. I know the church had made a statement about, we'll talk about it and we'll make it right, but we're not doing anything wrong. I haven't seen anything else from that since then. Anyway, what could be a huge fraud has not affected anybody, any members.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm trying to say is it's hard to reach the heart of the members about real issues that are going on, like scandals, like Book of Mormon legitimacy, like Joseph Smith history, like actual church history, the way the church functions today, the legitimacy of the authority of the leaders, like the priesthood.
Yeah.
It's hard to it's hard to talk about it with anybody that is that's in the church. So
Really?
Oh yeah. I mean, when you were in high school and you were in, well, you might be different because of where you're at now, but think about somebody you know that is a devout Mormon and try talking about something you learned about Joseph Smith that doesn't align with the cookie cutter Joseph Smith. It just, I mean, those conversations, I've never had a successful conversation like that with anybody. And
I've never tried. I think I'm too scared.
Oh yeah. When I was a missionary, I had this.
Oh yeah.
I had a perfect idea of who Joseph Smith was, what the church was, and its legitimacy. And when anybody would come to me with, "Hey, what about this? Like, what about Joseph Smith's 30 wives? And what about him being a sex offender?" And I'm like, it didn't happen. Or it didn't happen, or it happened, but it didn't happen like that, or it's just not true. And I was that person for a long time. I just wasn't willing to talk about anything. I wasn't willing to learn about anything else outside opinions, beliefs, or facts. I just shut it out, which I think is very relevant for not just Mormons, but for a lot of communities. And I think everybody's that way to some extent with certain things. I think it might just be part of human nature and a certain level of arrogance, but it's not a healthy thing to do, to block out other sources of information. I don't know what brought us to this.
Right.
But one thing to me, one of the reasons I want to do this podcast and bring people like you on here is to say is we should be able to open our minds to all perspectives.
Right.
I don't know if you listened to the episode with my buddy Hayden Langston.
Yeah, of course.
He's one of the, he's a brilliant, beautiful-minded person.
Yeah.
And a very devout Mormon. And he's insanely open-minded to a lot of different perspectives. And to me, who's an idiot and has crazy ideas and has a lot of controversial opinions, but that hasn't affected our relationship. But
nice.
It does for a lot of people. Yeah, it's way nice. I wish more people were able to sit down and have a reasonable conversation instead of being so uptight and arrogant about. And I'm not trying to say, listen to me, this is why you should leave the church. I would love to tell you why I left, and if that would have any impact on you, I would love to talk about it. But
right.
I also wanted, at the same time, I'm not going to say I don't want to hear your perspective. I want to hear what's keeping you in the church. If that's, not you, but
that'd be really interesting.
Anyway.
Yes. A really interesting perspective to get too.
Yeah, those are valuable conversations, I think. That's what this is supposed to be.
Yeah.
I want people to be able to learn from your experience, from your story, and not just hear me ramble for an hour.
Right.
Like I am right now. Anyway.
No, you're not rambling.
Where were we at? You were telling me, you were talking about, well, I guess I should just ask if you've covered most of your story.
Yeah.
As much as you want.
My story didn't crumble, I think, as much as yours did. It was like there was an insignificant many ideas that I slowly fell away from or stopped feeling like I could truly back with like my whole heart sort of thing.
Maybe hold the mic just a little closer.
Sorry, man.
Just a little bit. No, that's fine.
And so, by the time college came around, I was like, yeah, I can't go on a mission. It would be too dishonest, like that.
Which is raw and
right.
Very respectable, but difficult to handle, especially if it was something you wanted to do. Was it something you wanted to do?
I hadn't really decided that. it's something that everyone talked about senior year sort of thing. And I was never what I wanted to talk about. I enjoyed the ideas much more. I would rather talk about or debate or argue, I guess, sometimes about certain things about the church. I was still in that phase of like trying to figure things out for myself.
Towards the end of high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah.
So you're moved out of home. You're at Dixie State.
Yeah.
You were at Dixie.
Mm-hmm.
And you are going through a bunch of different questions, different scenarios, and you eventually decide, yeah, I don't want to be a part of the church. I don't want to go to church. What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, it was at first there was a very short period. I mean, going to college was really exciting, and so there was so much like fun new things, like just being free, being myself. So there was that freeing part, and like being honest with myself more was just empowering. I was looking at the world through different eyes, so to speak, but at the same time there was a part of me that was kind of becoming nihilistic, I guess, in a sense where it was like, if I was having a down bad day, I'm like, wow, like how do I, like, what's the meaning of life, sort of thing. And kind of like a dismal, like, I don't even know what anything means, sort of thing. Like
that's deep.
That was rough. There was like one day where that happened, and I was like, whoa, like what do I but then I met a girl. Yeah. So
cute.
Yeah.
At Dixie? You met at Dixie?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Fell in love.
Yeah.
Was she ever Mormon?
No, she's never really been any religion, I guess. The best way she would describe it is like nature is her religion.
Energy. Nature.
Nature. Like she feels most spiritual when she's out like hiking in the wilderness.
But she doesn't get like I think some people put both of them together and say energy and nature.
Oh, really?
Because nature gives off an energy, and like certain stones have certain auras and meaning, and brings out different wavelengths but it's not like anything like that. It's just like I feel at peace being around Mother Nature.
Like like everything in the world is
comfortable. Yeah, I can get behind that.
Yeah.
The energy thing is tricky to me because that's another thing.
I don't know about that.
Oh, it was. I mean, like palm readers and I would even say essential oils to some extent. Yeah, like fucking healing magical powers.
Some people believe in that. You know people that believe in that?
Oh yeah. I know a few people that.
Wow. I don't know anyone like that.
I'm not, and again, I don't know shit about energy, but I just like I come from a mental place. I'm more factual.
Yeah.
If you can prove it to me, then I have no reason to doubt it. But if it's just an idea, then I'm not gonna. I mean, I will go with what makes sense to me.
No, my wife isn't like that.
No, and it's fine if she is. I mean, these people I know that do it, I love them, and it's great, and it brings peace to them. They find their own satisfaction and fulfillment in going through these experiences with energy, and that's cool. Fine. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna knock on my door and be a missionary for energy, I'm probably gonna tell you to get off of my porch. It's the same. It's the same thing with any religion. I don't get behind it because I don't feel that, but I can feel nature. I feel the same way when I'm in nature, natural
me too.
Environment. I think it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I've had some experiences like in nature where I'm like this is it. Like, I don't know. Like, this is what life is, sort of. Like this is Earth. This stuff's like old and ancient, and there's these trees and these rocks have been here for millions of years or whatever. Like that stuff's like, I don't know, just amazing.
Oh yeah. So and then some people are in nature and feel that and they're like, oh, this is God. This is God talking to me. Or this is the energy. Or this is fucking the squirrels. This is my squirrel God. People
Squirrel
they'll
God.
tie it. People will tie it to something. Like they have to explain the feelings they have,
Mhm.
right? They feel this joy, this pure love or satisfaction
Mhm.
or happiness, and they say, "Oh, this is God manifesting Himself to me. Oh, I'm free finally."
Yeah.
And
Well, it fits in their, all of their ideas, and I don't know.
I'm making fun.
That's good.
I'm making fun of
You're
it, but
right.
I don't have. I really don't have a problem with it. I just
No,
don't.
yeah.
I can't tie the happy feelings that I have to a Holy Ghost or to energy because I can't.
Right.
I can't. Energy is not coming to me and saying, "Hey, I am energy, and this is why you feel this."
Mhm.
I just know when even at the same time, when I have a meaningful conversation with somebody and I feel pure love for somebody,
Mhm.
I'm not like, "Oh, this is the Holy Ghost telling me that I love this person." No, I just fucking love this person.
Right.
And I'm enjoying this conversation I'm having, or the time that we're spending together. And to me, that's it. That's just, hey, that's where we're at, baby.
Yeah.
I can get that.
Yeah.
And there doesn't have to be an explanation to it.
Well, to me, I feel the same way, and those things are empowering. Like it just kind of blows you away, those feelings. But to me, they make more sense as just that's what they are, and to appreciate them that way, like this is how humans can interact, and like this is being spiritual, so to speak. I don't know.
Yeah, it could
Whatever.
be yeah.
I think it's great to be able to appreciate it for what it is and nothing more too,
Yeah, there's a lot of value in that.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to draw a conclusion out of something,
Which
there's a value to mystery and to the unknown. There's nothing wrong with saying I don't know why this is happening or why I feel this way, but I know that I feel this way, and I'm gonna embrace it for what it is, and and then move on from there, instead of trying to tie it to something. I think there's something really valuable about that,
and beautiful about things like the unknowns. Like, we're not here to know everything, whatever.
No, we never will. There's no way,
and you don't want to.
No, some people do.
Okay.
But I think you live a higher quality of life when you accept what's in your grasp, and knowing everything is not in anybody's grasp. So if you can let that go fast, then you're gonna live a higher quality of life.
I would say so. Yeah.
What do you believe now? After you did all of that exploring and research, where do you find yourself now?
So, that's a tough question.
This is
Nature.
a home of tough questions. Yeah, fuck yeah, nature.
Dude, nature's amazing. I mean,
what about nature?
I believe in like, I've had, everyone's had spiritual experiences. I believe in stuff that's like more powerful than me, higher powers, so to be. But I can't go any further than that. I'm not allowed. I'm not allowed to speak.
Can't speak
any further
because your tongue's gonna get cut.
Yeah. No, I if I have an experience, I think I take it for what it is, and like, I'm gonna remember it. I don't know. I believe in love, man.
Oh yeah, baby. We're in the 60s again.
Yeah, I believe in like, I don't know, discovering things for yourself too, I would say. I mean, that seems like what you kind of believe in right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and you're talking more, I think you're talking about ideas or qualities, but you don't believe in you don't have a idea of what a higher power is or that would exist. Do you think there is, you said you think there is a higher power.
Yeah.
You're not going to tie that higher power to anything. You think it exists. You don't know what it is. And you're okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel very okay with that.
That's great.
I don't need to tie it to anything. And I guess God is, I think in some ways, a good word to use. Just like if you strip it of all of its other pretenses, so to speak. Just like the pure energy of life force, evolution, chance, all that stuff mixed together. Like I just feel like there's been so many things that have happened in my life where I'm like this feels like something else was going on, you know?
Have you ever watched? I'm gonna say their name really wrong, but it sounds something like Kurzgesagt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've watched.
Oh hell yeah, dude! They're my
Yeah.
favorite. I'm gonna plug Kurzgesagt right now, and I don't know how the hell you say it right.
This
I
is
think
gonna be
it's
sick.
German. And have you seen the optimistic nihilism video? Nihilism, whatever, however you say
That's
that.
a new one, right? I haven't seen that.
It's not that new,
Okay.
unless they've made another one. But there's one they've made probably a couple years ago. That is there. It's like a scientific approach to
Okay.
the purpose of life. It's beautiful, and I think I share a lot of beliefs in that regard. It's all about like life has no purpose, has no meaning. Only what we except for what we give it, and we should live a high quality of life because it feels good instead of living a shitty life. And we shouldn't live a good life because of a god or because of another person, but because it is beneficial for the community and for our own health to be a good person. And we only get to live this life once as far as we know, so we should do what we want and make everybody happy and feel good along the way. And that's their take on it. I love that idea. I love being able to say that I don't know what exists. I'm not ever. Right now I'm not in a position to say I'm going to believe that anything does exist, whether there's a higher power or there's a purpose to life or there's life after death or anything like that. I can't prove that there is. I'm not going to say that there is. Not even because I want there. Here's the deal.
Okay.
The idea that if Jesus was just a story, it's a beautiful story.
Oh,
and I would love the story of Jesus to be a true story. I would love it because it has a lot of promises that are feel gooders. Like families get to live together forever, and there's a purpose to living on this earth, a purpose for going through all the sorrows that we experience.
Right.
I mean, there's meaning and there's reason, and it's very satisfying, and it all ties to our eternal happiness, basically.
See, I think you'd like Jordan Peterson.
Well, I think okay. Well, I guess I gotta check him out.
You gotta check him out.
I love the idea of it, but how am I ever gonna say that any of it's true or real?
Right.
Because I felt something once. All I know is I felt something once. That doesn't prove that it's true.
Right. But you can decide. That's the beauty.
I can decide what?
You can decide if you think it's true or not. I don't know.
You can decide it, but that doesn't make it true. You can
right.
You can
exactly.
say, I want this to be true. That's what all religion is. I want this to be true.
Mm-hmm.
But then some people say, I want it to be true, therefore it is true.
Mm-hmm.
And then they live their lives like it's true. They give their whole cause as a person to this.
Yeah.
To this cause, to their cause.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as it's a good cause, I guess there's nothing wrong with that. But to me, that's not a satisfying way to live. To me, at all, I don't want to live my life for an organization now that I don't know if it's true or not. That I think somebody made up for their own personal gain.
Right.
So,
yeah.
But I love where you're coming from. I love being able to say, yeah, this is what I believe, but I don't know.
Yeah.
That's fine.
That's weird. I mean, no one's really asked me that, so that's why I don't really have a question, and I don't really have. I really appreciate you bringing me here because I just don't have these conversations with people.
We'll do it again then. We'll do this again for sure.
Of course.
On and off the mic.
I'll get better at speaking or something.
No, you're doing great.
Okay.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know. I just don't want to be boring for people.
You're pleasant. I've been distracted a lot trying to get this dialed in for you, so that's my fault.
We've solved it now.
Yeah, now that we're 1 hour, 21 minutes, 10 seconds in.
Awesome. So back to kind of where. So at some point in college, I was kind of like, I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna jump off the deep end. Like, as far as like these, like, I'm not going to think or give it, sorry, let me reword that. I'm not going to believe in it, in these things. I'm just going to kind of try that, you know, because I tried so hard for so long to believe in all these things. This time I'm going to kind of take it more easy, build it up slowly, you know, start from ground zero. And like I said, I kind of had some, on my down days, I'd kind of be more nihilistic, like, oh, like, there's no meaning to this. Like, there's nothing I can do with meaning, so to speak. But eventually, like I said, I met my wife, and I was kind of able to be this new person of myself and really enjoy being myself with her. And she, you know, didn't come from
pause you?
this.
My
Yeah,
mom is
dude.
creeping in right behind you.
Oh, hello.
Mom, you don't know Tanner. This is Tanner Ellison. Tanner,
Nice to
this
meet
is my
you.
mom.
Is this the official podcast?
Yes, you're in the middle of our episode. Is there anything you'd like to say?
Podcast? Do I have to drop the F word to be on this?
Yes, at least one.
F, this is so effing good.
You look great. What are you doing
What
here?
about
Oh.
pics for Australia? You need granny pics for Australia?
No granny pics. Only dick pics. Did you listen to that episode?
Yeah.
She got really upset about
I
that
didn't
one.
get upset. I was just.
He said, "What the
turned off
hell?"
for a minute. I brought you some food.
Okay, put it in the
I'll bring
fridge.
it.
Thank
Nice to
you.
meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Are you staying
Those are
long?
my headphones, by the way.
Yeah, you can have them back. I hate them. They hurt my ears.
Those both are. Right?
Yeah, they hurt both of our ears the whole time. Are you staying long?
No, I don't want to interrupt, which I just did.
Yeah.
Just call me earlier.
Okay,
Okay, nice to meet you, Tanner.
We're all good. Nice to meet you.
that's my mom.
Wow.
Yeah, and then
What a
she's
nice
gonna listen
lady.
to this and wait for us what we're gonna say afterwards. But
And-
we're just gonna jump right back into it unless there's anything you want to say about my mom.
Oh, I'm wearing her headphones.
We're both wearing her headphones.
Oh,
I stole them
kind.
from her because I didn't have any headphones for this.
Oh, they're stylish too.
I got the dark pink ones. You've got the chrome pink
Yeah.
and white. Yours are beautiful, honestly.
Yeah.
Mine are annoying and they hurt my ears.
The cuffs are a little small.
I need to get those big ones that go over the ears that are more comfortable to wear. Cause
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well, anyways, met my wife, and I
Yeah.
felt a lot more comfortable about being my new self, you know, and then that's kind of how I started building meaning and just feeling like amazing about life and being on my own spiritual journey and figuring things out for myself, new experiences, so to speak, you know, and I really appreciate that. Like, I love it. I love who I am now, you know? Whereas before it was always, I was just trying to be something, you know?
oh yeah,
I don't know.
I totally get
Yeah.
I totally get where you're coming from. Yeah, it's not easy to fit the Mormon standard, especially if you don't feel like it fits you. There was a long time
Right.
in the church before I went on my mission that I was like, I don't belong here. I mean, I belong here. I want this is my life because the church is true and it's always true and I'm already in the church, so I'm not going to leave. So it is my life, but also at the same time I feel like I long for other things like I mentioned in the other episode. Anytime I would masturbate, I would like lose my mind like I'm going to hell instantly and I'd feel so depressed. It was a depressing time. But then kids would joke about masturbating in school.
Oh.
And I'm like, it's not a joke. Like, it's so fucking serious. We're not supposed to sin. We're supposed
Right.
to take it all serious, right?
Yeah.
But
Definitely.
eventually, I learn that all we are humans. We're animals, wild
Yeah.
animals that have learned how to be civil, and then we've made up this religion with rules.
Mhm.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
So being able to get out of the mold and express yourself how you are, who you are, like you're saying, and then to meet somebody that's willing to share that with you and bring that out of you, bring the good qualities out of you.
Yeah.
is
I got really
insurmountable.
lucky though, you know.
Well,
That's hard to find.
that's
but-
cute. That's awesome.
But yeah.
So you don't attend any church, any kind of groups?
No.
You're not a part of any groups?
No, I'm not part
No
of any
nature groups?
No nature groups. No.
Good. That's fine. I don't either.
Well,
I kind of want to though. I do feel like I miss community
Yes,
and
I
structure.
must say that.
Yeah, I do miss it.
community.
I don't meet people ever anymore unless I'm
Right.
out in a club. Then I hate meeting people at the club or at a bar. I hate it. I first of all, I want long-lasting quality relationships.
Okay.
And I want people that are like-minded, and I don't really know where to go. What does anybody go?
I don't know.
Like, all I can think of is I gotta play in a tennis league with people that play tennis. I'll meet people there.
Okay.
I go to
That's awesome.
join gym classes and meet people at the gym. I don't do anything else. I'm not gonna fucking meet people on Xbox. I don't want to. I have my friends
Right.
to play Xbox with. We talk trash to everybody else that we play with that we don't know. I'm not gonna meet people online.
Yeah.
I mean,
But-
and dating is hard. Dating's stupid. Tinder's stupid. Well, where else am I gonna meet anybody? Carpet
know.
cleaning? No, forget about it, dude. Fuck that.
Hey, don't close that door.
The carpet
never
cleaning
know.
door?
What? You never know. You might
I mean, it's
have
all
a
I
nice
do.
client.
It's somebody.
a nice, good-looking
A
client.
nice. I'll tell you. All I run into are grandmas and grouchy. Well, really nice grandmas, grouchy grandmas, or grouchy supervisors at apartment complexes, maintenance people.
Okay.
That's it. I don't because everyone, all the other places I clean I don't meet a lot of people. I just meet
Yeah.
nice or grouchy grandmas. I don't want to date a grandma.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
No,
I've
I get
met-
it. I'm just playing.
Coworkers. That's how I've met new people, but just happen to
tough,
be
dude.
people same age as me. But
Yeah, dude,
Um,
growing up and not having school and getting out of a religion where your whole life was in a culture.
yeah,
I would meet so many people in church, and it was really nice meeting ladies in church when I was going to church because it was a lot of core values were already aligned
right.
until that started to change. Now I got to meet people without those with different core values,
Mm-hmm.
and but I don't know where they're at. I don't know where my like-minded people are. It's
I
weird.
Have no clue.
It's a weird place.
Yeah.
It's fun though. I mean, I'm not sad. And
Isn't there like a Reddit for ex-Mormons?
Oh, I'm sure there's hundreds.
Something like that. I don't know. I've been on there, but it's full of like a lot of people who are very bitter about the church, and I don't like. I'm not in that stage anymore. I don't think I really ever was. Maybe for a little bit, but
I don't think I was either.
really,
Yeah, I was never upset. Here's why.
yeah. I was curious because before you getting into that, I feel like I've met two types of ex-Mormons, or I don't know, Momo.
No mo momos.
Yeah. No more
Yes.
momos. There's those that have been like bitter, and they're like, "Oh man, I wasted 2 years of my life," and like they're always like fighting. It seems like they're fighting.
Mm-hmm.
And there's others that are just kind of okay. They've kind of just, I don't know, came out unscathed, and I'm just
With
curious.
no bitterness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's got to be a sweet spot or a way to help people who are bitter to not be so bitter. I think that's not a healthy thing that we're seeing.
No, I agree. I don't think it's healthy at all. Here's what I think. Most of the people that I meet that are bitter are older than I am, older than us, 35 and plus probably.
Right.
And they're bitter because they were deceived. They were lied to. And I'm not saying just them. I'm being general. A lot of my family, I think I've mentioned this, that have left the church.
You have.
Left because they had no access to outside information. They were just being told what they were told and
Mm-hmm.
chose, and then they had to believe it. And if they didn't believe it, then they would lose everything. There was no communities, especially in Utah. How do you find community of ex-Mormons when all of your family is Mormon, your friends,
Right.
and and there's no internet, and there's no way to reach people that are ex-Mormons. So you go to your bishop and you're like, I don't believe this, and your bishop's like, you gotta believe this. And then you believe it for the next 20 years, and then the internet comes out and it's like, oh, guess like
Right.
the rest of the world doesn't believe this.
Yeah.
So
They just
then they
didn't
get
have the
pissed.
resources.
right, they're like, oh, my leaders knew about this the whole time and they didn't tell me. They didn't tell me that most of the world isn't Mormon, and that it's built on a whole bed of lies and deceit, and
Right.
then they get bitter. But as for me, I had access to all of that my whole life. I just
Mhm.
chose to stay away from it because I wanted to be in the church.
Yeah.
As soon as I was curious, I was able to access everything, all sorts of different information and community, and
Mhm.
find different, like Mormon stories was probably my primary source for, I don't want to say ex-Mormon literature,
Yeah.
but just for outside perspective
Yeah.
and
Just
information.
learn true, like real life people's stories, like
Yeah, and I was able to get it like that
that.
with
Dude, that
behind
onto
everybody's
something
back
here.
without telling anybody. You know, I
Yeah,
could do
yeah.
I was like a closet leaving the Mormon church kind of thing. I think most people are that way because it's hard to go, and a big push that John DeLynn at Mormon Stories is making is we should be able to talk about
Yeah.
your questions in the church with other church people, which I wholeheartedly support.
Yeah. Well, you're doing that with this. I mean, this is awesome. I think this is a different avenue, but it's just as good. I think it's serving that purpose. You know what I mean?
Well, thanks,
I
man.
think-
I think it's similar.
It's similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the idea of people that I know, or I guess people that know me but don't know you, are able to hear, bye, leaving, love you,
See ya.
drive safe. Can you hear still? Can you hear in your headphones still?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
There's sometimes a short if that gets pulled.
Oh, we're good.
Oh, I lost my train of
Oh.
thought.
You're talking about people that don't know me but know you.
Oh, yeah, people that don't know you but are listening to this are able to hear your perspective and your the way your brain works, and they can and they can say, "Oh, I agree with what he says," and or I don't agree with it. And
Right.
Then most people that keep listening are people that are open-minded and can assess each experience
Yeah.
and then apply it to themselves somehow. People that don't give a fuck listen to my first episode and got mad at me and unfollowed me on all of my social media and blocked my podcast.
Oh man,
Yeah, that's
that's crazy. That
those
people
are-
do that.
Oh yeah, people don't give a fuck about me. Even people that did love me or care about me to any extent blocked me because they didn't want to hear about why they didn't want to hear something that was contradictory to them or what they believed.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's a healthy way to live, but I can't convince everybody to listen to me, and I'm not going to, and truthfully, I don't want to listen to everybody anyway. You know, I want
Yeah.
I want to give the people that I love and respect the time that they deserve, but
Mm-hmm.
not everybody that has something to say is valuable. Even in that, including myself.
Yeah.
I say a lot of shit, and a lot of
Oh,
it is
yeah.
not relevant, but I say it anyway because it's relevant to somebody, I guess.
I've enjoyed your podcast. I feel like that's why I like reached out to you, because I was like, this stuff's awesome. Like, he's doing some cool stuff here. I want to be part of it. You know what I mean?
Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that we're doing this. I think at the end of the day, what's most important is transparency, honesty, integrity, and
Yeah.
a general sense of care for everybody, like a wellness in the community.
Mm-hmm.
I want people to be civil and happy and able to communicate. I don't want to bring the church down, but I have a lot
neither.
of problems with it. I'm not afraid to talk about it or to
Sure.
address it. I mean, even today I heard somebody that I love and respect said something that I have a really hard time because it's raw, going into detail
Yeah.
on the microphone, but even I will hear it, but I want to be able to talk about things that I hear that I don't agree with or that I don't believe in with that person, and have them be able to have be respectful towards me as well. no animosity, basically,
Mm-hmm.
and happiness, dude. Peace. What did you say earlier? You believe in love, dude?
I do.
I believe in love, dude.
Yeah.
Easy. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think there's got to be a lot more of it. I think there could be too. I think it's tough to get there.
Yeah. Well, I think the good thing about a podcast is like people can listen without, you know, they can be around good different conversations without being around them, so to speak. You know,
Yeah. There's even
like people who might be listening to this or your other episodes, they wouldn't feel comfortable to be like in the room, you know, but to be able to get a new idea and be able to be like on their own, kind of think about those conversations by themselves, I think that's beneficial.
yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly. Truthfully, I mean, I know I joke about having 4 listeners, but every episode I get gets a few hundred listens,
That's awesome.
and I think it's way awesome. And I want to blow that number up big time. But I don't hear from 300 people. I hear from 5 people or 10 people about each episode,
Okay.
which is great. I want all the feedback I can get, and opinions and questions and or concerns, because especially from the people that I care about
mm-hmm.
or that care about me. But yeah, dude, I get like 5% of the people actually reach out. So
Yeah.
there are a lot of people that hear it and say, and are able to assess it and either keep listening or cut it off, and which is interesting. And it's an interesting dynamic. Even me, I listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to a lot of Mormon Stories and Joe Rogan Experience.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just a drop in a drop of, what do they say? A drop of water in the bucket. Is that a saying? Hey, guess what? I just made up a saying.
A drop of water in the bucket.
And they get millions of listeners and probably hundreds of comments and feedback or emails and whatever. I don't know. But there's a lot of people that just listen to it and think, oh, that makes sense, or oh, that is impactful to me. Like, I listened to the Mormon Stories podcast, and John had an ex-Scientologist on, and they had this 14-hour interview.
Oh man.
And at the end of it, they were like, yeah, and they were talking about donations, and it's hard to ask for donations when doing something like that. Doing a podcast, promoting something that they believe in, because it seems desperate, but anyway. I heard that, and without having to say anything, I was able to donate to their cause and
good for you,
make impacts that way.
Yeah.
But I don't have to know them to learn or to be helpful.
Yeah.
So I do think there's value to this, even though it's hard to see it right away, and especially as a guest like yourself. I think my brothers were on here for one of the first few episodes, and I mean, they don't listen. They'll never hear this because they don't listen to the rest of the episodes. I know they don't.
Oh, okay.
I don't. So, but they made a really big impact. I have got a lot of feedback from LGBTQ people.
No way.
Dude,
That's great.
I listen to your podcast, and I'm gay or I'm queer, and I love what you're doing, and I want to support it, and it's awesome. Every guest I've had has made a unique impact, and it's got me in contact with a few people. Like Herzog has got back. Well, he texted me the other day because
That's so
of
cool.
you. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He's because you said that he listened to it and then told you about my podcast.
Right.
And then you got in touch with me, and then he ended up texting me. Anyway,
that's good.
It was funny.
That's good.
But yeah, it's just community. I want good community, happy, healthy friendships.
Yeah.
Relationships.
Yeah, Herzog's awesome. Him and Matt Jasperson and Josie Cox Jasperson.
Yeah, that's still weird to me.
Is it?
All the married names is weird to me.
Yeah,
it doesn't
hard.
matter who it is.
That's hard.
Especially if I knew the lady. If I knew the lady, and like all of yeah, without having to name everybody.
Yeah, but they're great friends. They're all LDS, you know, and we still all get along and hang out, and it's fun. I even went to Japan with them, so that was a big deal.
You did?
Yeah, Matt and Josie.
Oh.
So they're good friends.
When did you go to Japan?
It was last summer.
Mm,
So
fun.
oh yeah.
Did you like it, Japan?
Yeah. I even went, that was the last time I went to church too.
In Japan?
Yeah.
Oh shit. How was it? What's church like
It
in
was-
Japan?
It's the same.
But
it's
in
like,
Japanese?
yeah.
Do you know Japanese?
No, Josie does. She went on a mission there.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, we basically had a tour guide the whole time.
That's way nice.
Yeah, and like it was pretty cool because she knew some families, and so we were able to, go into one of their homes, and they like fix us meals, and I was like, wow, this is like better than any other experience you could get touring, you know?
Absolutely.
So
And cheaper if you already have a tour guide that is in your group
yeah,
that can speak Japanese.
yeah,
Wasn't
So-
there a big temple, historic, beautiful temple that just burnt down
yeah,
over there?
yeah. We
What was
we
it?
luckily saw it
You saw it?
before it burned down. I believe it was in Okinawa, and it was very old, and it was a pretty big like tourist spot too.
Yeah. I just
Um,
remember seeing it in the news not too long ago.
Yeah, that's really sad.
Yeah, it's really sad. What was it? What was the building?
Shoot, I can't remember. But I'm pretty sure it was like all wood or something like that. So
Yeah.
it burned
Hmm.
pretty well.
That'll go fast. That's too bad. Yeah, dude. I'm glad that you're here. Is there anything else that you want to add to your story, to your unique situation? Anything worth mentioning?
No, I feel like I've given you too much.
Not too much.
Not too much?
No, dude. We're 1 hour 43 minutes 22 seconds in, and you could go you could double that if you wanted.
I could.
We could go all night if you want.
I'm down, man.
Okay, keep going then.
Where was I?
So anyway, no, we could always come back whenever
Yeah.
you want.
I don't know. I was a little bit, like I said, there. It seems like everyone
You bring
has
the
a
mic
little.
up close.
It
And we're
seems
getting
like
we're
everyone
getting cozy
has.
here.
Yeah. Doing the pod.
Yes.
It seems like everyone has a bitter stage, though. Like, oh, the church is this, and I can't. Like like they fooled me, and they got me, and everything is wrong, and it's not going to be beneficial for me to follow any of this or anything. And at least with, I think like my little brother's kind of like that. Like all of it's bad, you know.
Yeah.
Like it's not true, so it's all bad.
Yeah.
And it's kind of tough because I'm like, I don't know. There's there's good things to learn from it. Like if I didn't grow up in the church, I think I wouldn't be the same person at all, for the better. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So
I think there's something to be said about what the church has to offer, what religion has to offer versus what it stands for or its origin.
yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
And I think I know the church does a lot of good. And as a missionary, that was all I promoted was just, and that's, I mean, eventually I learned I can be a good person without the church, but I think the church is mostly promoting good things. That's why I say that the leaders I think they have good intentions,
Right.
but then they're like, this is God's will. But, I mean, that to me, that doesn't sit well. I don't know. I just don't know if there is a God's will.
Yeah.
They think there is. They think their decisions are influenced and whatever. A lot of people feel like their decisions are influenced and they have spiritual experiences, and I'm not going to discredit them. I don't know what they're feeling or what they're going through. All I know is what I feel and what I'm going through, right? So
yeah.
to say that, I can say that the church is not true, but that it still does good, and that's just, I think that's a fine thing. I would be happier if the church was, if the leaders knew that it wasn't true, that they would come forward about it, would be honest about it, but
Yeah.
that would never happen.
No.
Not with its status. There's no way. Even if it was all a fraud,
Right.
which would be insanely frustrating.
That would be crazy. That would not be
Insanely-
good.
No, it
that
would be
not-
devastating. It'd be devastating. I know it never will happen.
Yeah.
It's impossible to fathom. The only way that would ever anything like that would happen is if a general authority or just someone of high status said it's a fraud,
Right.
and then everybody else would say, "Don't listen to him; he's psycho."
Yeah.
And then
Well, these are the things
he'd be
I was
discredited.
right. I was thinking about these things like in high school, and it was so hard. It's so hard to like wrap your head around and like feel confident about the church when you're thinking about those things. Like, oh, they have free agency, but they couldn't do that because then that would mean that everything else was false. You know, like
Yeah.
those were the types of things that I would like. My head would kind of debate itself.
Wasn't there a general authority in like the 70s that was excommunicated?
No
you know
way,
anything about
really?
that?
No.
Let me see if I can find it. I remember hearing something like that on my mission, and I thought it was outrageous.
There's a lot of little things like that you just never know. Like African Americans were like denied the priesthood for a while, and then they
Yeah.
got it back or something like that.
It's like the Book of Mormon musical. I believe that in 1970 whatever that God
Yeah.
changed his mind about black people.
that was great.
Did you see it?
Yeah,
It's beautiful.
yeah, and it's good to see it in Salt Lake. Did you?
Yeah, I
Did you
saw
see-
it in Salt
yeah.
Lake at the Eccles Theater.
Everyone laughs a little extra.
Oh yeah,
you know?
because it hits hard home
Oh,
for
yeah.
us. Yeah, dude, it was. I've seen only a handful of plays, but that was my that was one of my favorites of all time. It was so funny.
Oh yeah, they just know they really dig deep. Like they just know how to get at like LDS jokes.
Why did the Mormon Church excommunicate a top official for the first time in decades? So it happens. I don't wonder what his status was.
Yeah.
Oh, Elder James H. Hamula, a member of the Quorum of the 70. I remember his face from General Conference. Does he look familiar to you?
Yeah, but they all look the same
think
to me.
He looks very familiar. I don't know if he came to my mission or...
He looks, yeah.
Let's see what it says. This event is rare. Hamila, 59, held the rank of general authority. The church is led. Oh no, it's describing the church. He was born in Long Beach. Sorry, this is fascinating to me. It is unlikely that the reason for Hamila's excommunication will be forthcoming from the church leadership. Mormons maintain that all church disciplinary procedures must be carried out in secret, and church leaders must keep confidential all information discussed in confessions and interviews. But in the past, the church has dismissed high-ranking officials for moral transgressions that violate church doctrine as well as criminal offenses. Oh, I think this is what I was thinking of when I heard on my mission. Richard Lyman, who held the rank of an apostle, was excommunicated in 1943. The church leaders became aware that Lyman was having an affair with a woman. He had been given to council, and excommunicated him for lawful. Wow, Jesus Christ! He was excommunicated for unlawful cohabitation. Bam.
Wow.
Yeah, I wonder why
Never
this
heard
guy
of
was excommunicated. I mean, it is none of my business, but I guess it happens.
Yeah.
I wonder if they like strip all of his talks too from the gospel library, because they have all of the general authority talks saved on record. I wonder if they
Dang.
go away, like if his word isn't valid anymore.
Yeah. And what would that mean?
What
Yeah.
would it mean?
What would it mean? See, that's the problem with me. I'm just like, yeah, what would that mean?
What would it mean though? It would mean that he was.
Everything he was saying was false. It's
Let me
like,
see if I can find a
no.
Hemila talk. James J. Hemila.
A good book for church history that you should look into is Under the Banner of Heaven.
Under the Banner?
Under the Banner of Heaven.
Under the Banner of Heaven?
It's by John Krakauer, the guy that wrote like Into the Wild, Into Thin Air.
Oh.
Like
Oh, no. I'm thinking of
superb
something else.
investigative journalism It's like, yeah, massive selling books.
Uh,
But it goes into like look him up. Ron Lafferty, Dan Lafferty.
Dan?
Yeah, this happened in like I think it was like 2014, or maybe even earlier than that. These two guys were told. They say they were told by God to murder their sister-in-law or something of the sorts, and it's an intense book for sure. I don't know if I'd recommend it for like people who are LDS, but it does have a good, like really good documentation on Joseph Smith history, because they do go into like LDS history and how these guys went from being FLDS or LDS to FLDS, and then eventually kind of going like way off the border.
Dan Lafferty was
Yeah.
a part of the FLDS. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, he started out LDS, and then started going towards the FLDS, and then he kind of just went on his own thing. Like, it's really good writing, that I think you'd like. Get like the audio book. That's what you should do.
I love audiobooks, dude.
Oh, me too.
I just started one about the authenticity of the Bible as a historical record, and I'm like a chapter in, and it's not looking good.
Dude, don't.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
What? It's not looking good for you.
For the
like you finishing
for
or
the Bible.
Oh,
It's not looking good.
already
No.
round one in the Bibles.
It was just so far it's just
They start off
like
hard hitting.
explaining the different varieties or different translations of the Bible where most of the Old Testament has come from, which was just a collection of stories written mostly around the year 4000 BC when the first historical texts were actually being recorded. So that's like 6,000 years ago, but I think that's what I remember. It's a tough book. Yeah. There's a reason I'm only a chapter into it. It's not looking good for me to finish either.
Yeah, don't worry about finishing books. Like everyone, like the weirdest thing about reading, because I've been like, my wife's starting a book club, and I've, like talking to people about reading. They're like, we always feel like we have to go like start to finish this book and then be proud that you finished a book. But if it's not interesting you, like, just stop it. You know what I mean?
But what
like,
if I bought it
waste your
with
time.
my own money?
It's sunken cost fallacy, man. You already bought it. You can't return it, right?
Sunken cost fallacy?
Yeah, you've already spent the money. You can't unspend the money. So
I shouldn't
there's
read
nothing
it just
else
because
more
I
to
bought it?
lose, Yeah, you shouldn't put yourself through more pain or torture just because you already spent money that you can't, you know what I mean?
Sunken cost fallacy.
Right.
Huh, that's brilliant. That's kind of like buyer's remorse.
I don't know about that. What's buyer's remorse?
Oh, yeah, buyer's remorse is like, I bought these AirPods. I'm like, oh, sick, I got some AirPods. And then I go home, and then I'm like, oh, man, this was a $200. I bought these for $200, and I could have used that towards my car payment. And I already got wired headphones, so I probably shouldn't have bought these, and I regret buying these. That's what buyer's remorse is.
But
I fucking love my AirPods. I do not regret buying these. But
right.
That's the analogy.
Yeah, I'm jealous, man. That's why I picked them up at your desk very first.
You've never seen
them.
AirPods?
I've never seen them. And
Did
I'm
you
like,
want to try them?
Yeah, I do.
Well, mine aren't very clean. I work with them, and then they get like ear stuff. Let me clean them first, and you can put them on. But they're awesome. I was worried they weren't gonna stay in my ear, and I'd be going to the gym, and they'd fall out. I've never had one fall out.
Okay, because I like the shape. I can't do the ones with the gel stuff, whatever.
Like the noise canceller ones.
Like the inside ear, like the every other kind of shape of
like
ear.
the oval one that goes in. Yeah,
Those
they're supposed to block noise.
Yeah, and they never fit. Like, they always fall out.
Those always fall out.
They always feel like they're about to explode my ear.
Yes. But Apple just made their own version of that with AirPods. And I haven't tried them, but I've heard that they're better than AirPods
Oh.
because they're noise canceling. And they are smaller. So these ones are long. Can't get this out with one hand. I got to put the mic down. These AirPods have the long stem or whatever. And then the new ones are like half the length.
Okay.
And have the noise canceller rubber that you shove in your ear. You can barely see them, and they're way better. And they have the same battery life. But I haven't broken or lost these ones yet, so I'm gonna keep them until I need to.
Good thinking.
Yeah.
Don't get buyer's remorse.
I was in the Apple store, ready to buy the new pair with these in my hand that work perfectly fine, and I was like, I need the new AirPods, and he brought them out to me, and I had them in my hand. I'm like, I'm not gonna buy these AirPods, and then I left, and it was like a movie. It was beautiful.
That's nice.
I made the right choice, and then
You felt the Holy Spirit.
the Holy Ghost told me to put the box down,
Yeah.
to walk out of the store, and not turn around, or I would turn into a pillar of salt. So I didn't. But then one of these is I'm losing the volume in one of them. One of them's like only at 50% capacity now. I think it's clogged. It's gross. I don't know why I can't hear out of it very well. But anyway, I Googled how to clean them. It's like, just soak them in acid or soak them in hydrocide. Not hydrocide. Hydrogen peroxide.
Okay.
I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, that sounds.
That doesn't
I
sound
wouldn't
good
do
for
that.
the headphones. Soak it in hydrogen peroxide and then put it in a bag of rice for 3 days. And you'll have clean headphones. I'm like, I'd rather not do that.
I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Dude, you know, Apple, I was watching an MKBHD YouTube video. He's like big tech YouTuber. Anyways, he was saying how like AirPods, if Apple just released a new company that all they did was sell AirPods, it'd be a multi-billion-dollar company. Like
Just off the AirPods?
Just off the AirPods. They've sold like, oh shoot, I don't know what that number is. It's multi-billion.
Hey Siri,
Yeah, don't ask Siri.
I want the dollar amount. Oh, yeah.
They're going to say it's bigger than... No.
Do I ask for the dollar amount or the amount of units sold?
The dollar amount.
Hey Siri, what is the total dollar amount of AirPods that have been sold?
Okay, I found this on the web for what is the total dollar amount of AirPods that have been sold.
It's going to pull up this website from AirPods were a $6 billion business for Apple this year, 2019. $6 billion in 2019.
Dude, that's nuts.
But they launched the new AirPods, so I'm sure a lot of people, whether they had working AirPods or not, bought the new ones. I wonder what it was in 2018.
It's
Hey,
got to be so much.
What was the total dollar amount of AirPods sold in 2018?
I found this on the web.
Oh, $8 billion.
Yes, that's the number
$2
I was
billion
thinking of.
more than this year, than 2019.
So, and think about it. They literally invented the problem for AirPods. They're just like, yeah, let's get rid of the headphone jack. Oh, now here's your solution to no headphone jack.
Bluetooth.
$8 billion.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, they did that well.
Yeah.
I hate them. But I need all of their stuff. I need the MacBook because it talks to my phone. I need the headphones because it talks to my phone. I need my phone because it talks to everything else.
Mm-hmm.
I need the watch because
you're in the
it's
ecosystem,
sick,
man.
But I don't have the watch anymore. I sold the watch.
Good for you.
I stopped wearing it because I was getting it dirty when I was cleaning carpets. And I also wasn't using it. It's more of a toy than it is a commodity.
Eminem, he has some line about that. He's like, Apple Watch, or one ball and half a dick. Apple Watch. That's his line.
In his new album?
It was a while back.
While ago?
I think because he's on that freestyling binge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he roasted Donald Trump.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah, fuck Donald Trump, am I right? I don't mean to get political on here,
think
but
so.
right?
Yeah, dude.
I
Yeah.
actually don't know.
I don't know
No, I don't follow the politics. All I know is it's ridiculous, and
Yeah, I
it's
don't
like
follow-
religion.
any of it.
Dude, some people are more devoted to politics than their religion
And football.
and fucking football, dude.
Yeah. It's like a quasi, like sociologists have studied it as a quasi religion, football.
I wouldn't be surprised.
You know, like people wear like socks that think they're going to make them, and then make them win or something. You know what I mean?
Superstitious.
Not like the players, but like the watchers. They're like, I got to wear these socks or they're going to lose. Or, you know what
yeah,
I mean?
the rituals. Everyone
Yeah.
they got their own rituals for football. Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
They got to wear their own special jerseys, and then if their team loses, they throw a chair through their TV. You know, it's ridiculous,
Yeah.
but it's real, dude. People are psycho. People
Yeah.
are psycho.
We all are, I think.
I'm fucking out of my mind. And if I'm out of my mind, then everybody's got to be somewhere on the spectrum.
I got to be out of my mind.
Oh yeah, you're definitely out of your mind.
Yeah.
You're nuts, so dude. You shaved your head on Saturday.
I know that story. Probably sounds so insane.
Well, a lot of people cut their own hair.
I've cut my hair plenty of times before.
You just shaved it all this time.
This time I just went
'Cause you
too
fucked
far. But I feel a little more. I feel better about myself being honest with you about it. You know,
I appreciate it.
because I was thinking, what's an easy way to tell coworkers? I'll just say I lost my fantasy football league.
I bet.
like-
yeah.
I don't know if I can't live with that.
Fucked up your haircut.
Yeah,
That's all that happened.
yeah,
I got my beard trimmed today.
nice.
Yeah, I did for the first time. Doesn't
You
it
did-
look so
someone.
clean? Somebody did it. They just
Yeah.
fucking made the lines sharp and
Oh dang.
took care of the bush underneath the chin. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it looks great, dude.
Thanks, dude. I'm really happy with it. I was like, I'm coming here every week because then it starts to grow like down my neck, and that's really gross. And she's
Yeah,
like, don't try to do it yourself because most people that do it end up cutting back too far, and then it's like halfway under their chin, and then
Oh.
like halfway through their sideburns, and it looks disgusting. But I think it's awesome. Plus, I've never been like groomed as a man. I need to get my hair done, my eyebrows. I just got my beard done.
Okay.
Not my pubes though. I'm gonna leave those alone.
Okay. The-
I'm glad you took that so well.
I
Yeah, everyone's got to manscape every now and then. Well, you better manscape, or
Yeah.
you're sick. Those are the real sick fucks. If you don't manscape, you're a psychopath.
what's Manscaped?
Cut your ball hair.
Oh,
You got to
Why?
cut your ball hair
why?
because it's disgusting, and it gets too long and it's gross.
It doesn't just grow back?
Yeah, you got to trim it like you trim anything else. You got to just keep it maintained. I'm not saying shave bald. Bald is
That's kind of weird.
uncomfortable. Yeah, naked mole rat is what I think of.
Yeah.
Bald is too much. But
the point of the pubes are like, I'm old, like I'm ready to have sex, right? That's the point of them. Like,
no way.
that's the indicator, right?
No way.
Yeah.
I got
That's
ball hair when I was like 13. I guess I was ready to
There
fuck
you
at
go.
13.
Right there. 13, that's right?
I'd never
It's just
thought
like-
of it that way. I thought it was like a thing for bacteria or something.
It's a signal.
Well, then just fucking, you got your signal. Cut it off. You got your signal. It's unpleasant. I just want it to be maintained. Groomed. I just want to be groomed. I
Okay.
feel cleaner.
Yeah.
It's like I shaved my armpits once, and
How'd
now
that
I just
go?
keep them trimmed because it gets gross. Also, my armpit hair grows weird.
What? Grows weird.
I don't know. It grows in like two different spots. It's like the whole
Oh, okay.
armpit doesn't have hair. It's like kind of up high and then down my ribs a little bit.
Whoa.
Yeah, I got funky armpit hair, so I got to keep it trimmed. It's better to stay groomed.
Yeah.
Just like Dos Equis. You stay thirsty, I stay groomed.
Well done.
Thank you.
Is that paying off for you?
No,
No.
I still don't meet anybody. Still don't meet anybody at all. And
With the new beard, man, you'll meet someone.
yeah, it'll come. It'll show up eventually. They'll show up.
So, we don't have to talk about this if you're not comfortable. But one, I don't know what dating's like, so I'd like to get your take on that.
On dating?
Dating. Yeah, because I just met my wife.
You don't need a date, my friend.
and
You're
I'm
done.
You're right.
You've
But
checked out.
I was never in the dating period.
You never like dated somebody for a long period of time besides your wife,
No,
who you're currently dating.
no. Like I said, I got lucky and just
Yeah, you got right into
currently
it.
dating. Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
marriage is just dating forever. That's
Yeah.
how I think of it. You're just
Sorta.
married. You're just dating forever now to each other.
yeah,
Dating in the real world, dating like around, kind of sucks. It's like, okay, here's the thing: finding someone to date
that seems
sucks.
like the hard part.
Yeah,
It's
it
like how do you?
Because you got to do first dates 100 times or a dozen
Okay.
times or whatever, and they're awkward and they're uncomfortable, and then you can tell usually right away if you like somebody or not, and then sometimes you like them and they don't like you, or vice versa, and and sometimes you have like a good person on a date, but then you fuck up the date. Like I've taken quality girls out before and then have fucked up the date by like plans falling through, or
Yeah.
I'm distracted with something else and then just miss the chance, to date somebody. And then once you're in a relationship, that's when that's what's the best.
Yeah,
me.
but it's hard to get
But
there.
getting there is the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate getting there.
Ooh.
Some people like the game though. Some people like to do the a billion first dates and not be in a steady relationship because they like the variety, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't love doing that myself. I would rather be in a relationship with somebody for a long period of time rather than short relationships with many different people.
Right. Same.
Yeah, it's not as fulfilling. It's not as satisfying. I'm just getting out of a long-term relationship.
Yeah.
And-
That's the other thing. You don't have to talk about it more, but
Oh well, I talk
just
about it in
curious.
the last episode a little bit. It just sucks, dude.
that sounds rough.
Yeah,
man.
breakups suck, but
I don't. Yeah, like I don't
you've
know.
never been broken up with or broken up with anyone?
Luckily, no.
Damn,
Maybe like
it's not worth it.
Okay, ninth grade, I had a girlfriend, quote unquote, that I texted. Like it was all text, so very lame. But yeah,
Romantic though.
Yeah, I think she technically broke up with me, and yeah,
Were you heartbroken?
I think so, a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just like, oh, I feel so bad about myself. Like I suck. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Oh
And
yeah.
In the end, I'm like, that was a stupid relationship. Like this, like
Well, there
this
was
so,
no substance.
Yeah, it's
was
like kids,
very
man. They think
superficial.
everything
Yeah.
they're doing is so important, you know.
Oh yeah, dude. It still is.
But yeah, that sounds rough. I feel for you, man. Yeah,
Well,
I don't have any empathy because I never experienced it. But I you know, that
No,
sounds
that's fine.
tough.
yeah, it
I-
just sucks. But it's better now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the first breakup I've gone through, but it is the first one that was not. I didn't break up with her,
oh,
so it was. That's what's weird. It's the first time I've been broken up with.
oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's. And again, I don't think it's abnormal to be broken up with. People change, or that you learn something about. We learned a lot about each other over the course of our relationship, and
Yeah.
it didn't pan out, and I have to live with that. And at first, I blamed myself for a lot of. I still blame myself for a lot of things,
Okay.
but I don't hold myself. I'm not mad at myself, really.
Necessarily.
I don't want to be. I want to be a happy individual and
Yeah.
get over it. And I know that anybody else that is going through a breakup feels the same. Who wants to be miserable or feel like you're a failure or that was your
Right.
only relationship? I've always believed that. I've never believed in a soulmate or there's one person for you. I've always thought that there are a lot of people that you can make quality relationships with, and we meet some of them along the way of our lives, and then we meet some that are good relationships but aren't the best relationships. Everyone varies, and you'll never know what's out there until you experience it, and
Right.
you'll never know what you have until it's gone. What's that song? Never know you love her till you let her go.
I'm trying to speed up the lyrics in my head.
Let her go, but you let her go. So it's yeah, breaking up sucks. The relationship was worth it, and I have very fond memories of it. And
Yeah.
I
You feel
gotta
like
look
you
forward
learn,
to
like
another one.
you can take lessons from it, or
Absolutely,
yeah,
it was a good relationship for a long time, and then things, yeah, then some things didn't work out, and I could learn from those things that didn't work out.
yeah.
How to be a better person in another relationship, and
That's cool though.
some people get shitty relationships and there's no good things out of it, but it's, I think some people get into a relationship just to get in a relationship,
Yeah,
and then there's no quality, like the texting thing. I've done that with, I've been in that situation before with a lady, and there's no substance to it, but I want there to be.
oh,
I want
okay.
it to be quality relationship, but it's not, and
Mhm.
then it just has no value.
Yeah.
And that sucks. Or even just like fuck buddies.
Oh,
Never really had a fuck buddy, but to me, I think if you, well, I've been with other ladies
mhm.
that I don't want to be in a relationship with, and the reason that we're not fuck buddies is because sex is a lot more valuable than
Yeah.
can be. Some people just love to fuck and then call it a day. Yeah, some people are good at it. I'm
There-
not really good at it. Not right
I
now.
don't know anyone like that, but
I know a few.
my wife knows some people like that, and it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's part of their. That's just part of their personality somehow. They can handle that, in some sense. I don't think deep down they can like handle that long term.
No.
But maybe there are people that can.
Not the way that. Here's the thing. I think everyone's wired differently, and we live our lives the way that we want to some extent eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And some people, I've talked about before, we all feel love in different ways. We feel it physically, emotionally, and
Yeah.
romantically.
Okay.
And I think some people they get physical. They only need physical love or physical.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Like they just need physical.
Yeah.
What the fuck am I trying to say?
I know what you're saying.
But some people need romantic interest, and some people need emotional interest from another person,
Mhm.
and some need a combination of all three or just two, and
Different attachment styles.
yeah.
Different.
So some people
Love
just like to fuck and then
languages.
they don't want any emotion, they don't want any romance. But some people want only romance and no sex and no emotion, and some people just want emotion.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Yeah.
the best to me, I guess the way that I'm thinking about it is the best relationships are when you find someone with the same gauge, the same or close to the same on all those meters for
Mhm.
romance, for emotions, and for physicality, being physical. How the fuck do you say that?
Yeah.
Being physical?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's
People say intimate.
intimacy. That's
But intimacy is more. It's kind of the same thing. It's like you can be intimate this way or that way, but often like intimate just means sex. So
yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. I like intimacy. So
yeah.
yeah, finding the someone that you're attracted to that meets you on those spectrums is probably, I would guess, is where the best relationships come from.
Maybe.
The most long-term satisfaction relationships
Yeah.
with similar interests, of course. I don't know. I've never had a relationship longer than a year, so I have no idea. How
Yeah.
long have you been married?
3.5 years.
Oh yeah, so you're well
So-
into it. You're getting into it, I guess.
Yeah.
You've still got a long ways to go.
Yeah. Well, the hurdle is 2 years.
It is.
Statistically, yeah. A lot break off at 2 years, especially young marriages, I think.
The marriages take 2 years, or the relationship takes 2 years.
Marriage, I think, like the 2 year mark is like pivotal.
If you get past 2 years, you're looking pretty good.
You're looking much better.
What
Yeah.
about our parents that were married for 15 years or 20 years?
20 years?
Yeah.
I know. I don't
What's
know.
that? What's all that about?
I don't know.
I think
I think the religion has a part of it, to be honest. Because
interests change over
yeah,
time.
I think it's like, well, we got married in part because we agreed on like this family plan and the church, and we're both like that's some way I see it. Like we're both dedicated to like growing a family and this and that, and then your family turns to teenagers and they're like, oh, this is awful.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stress going on with that, and
Becomes dreadful.
and then it's like, and if you fall out the church too, it's kind of like all that stuff kind of like falls apart. I don't know. And my parents were also coming to the age of like middle-age crisis, so to speak. I think.
Yeah.
I think there might be a little bit of that.
How old? Go ahead.
So I mean, like 20 years, but at the same time, like there's like all these heavy things going on.
Yeah. How old were your parents when they got married?
Pretty old, I think. Maybe like 25. Different than most.
Yeah,
parents.
being 19. My parents were 19 and 20, 21. 20 and 21. Yeah.
Wow.
And then my mom had me when she was 20. Yeah. Or 21. But still, that's like me having a 3-year-old now.
Yeah. Right.
Jesus Christ.
Oh.
Imagine having a 3-year-old right now.
Dude,
well, a 3-year-old and twins. You just had twins. That's my mom. Yeah. She's got 3 kids in 3 years.
Man.
I know.
Well, bless her heart.
Bless her freaking heart, dude.
That's
She brought me taco soup. She's
I know.
The best.
And you guys are all living and
yeah, we're
happy
back in
and
the
healthy.
same house. Yeah, for the most part. No, life is good.
She's
dude.
doing good.
Yeah, she's great. She's wonderful. It's 7:30.
Oh, wow, man.
And
Time goes by.
We've been at it for 2 hours, 18 minutes, 17 seconds.
That's awesome. I hope you found this valuable, or find this
Hell yeah,
valuable.
dude. I hate to try to. I feel like sometimes people think, well, here's the deal. I'm not forcing conversation, but
People think you are.
I don't think people think I am. I feel like I am, but I think that the first little while is always tough. You've never recorded on a mic like this on a podcast, have you?
Not on a podcast.
But you recorded music?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So this is a little different. And then for me, knowing that it's going to go out to the public is
tough.
a funny thing.
Yeah, you can't help but think about it.
Think about it. I think yeah.
That's what's bothering me right now. I'm like, I'm thinking
Do you
about
regret everything you said?
who would be listening to this, or no,
Dude.
I don't. I'm trying to be honest and open,
I can tell. I respect that. Yeah, I respect that.
Yeah.
I think everybody else will too. What I'm saying is, we cross the threshold. The conversation becomes casual and real. Real or real becomes real, and but that usually happens like an hour into it.
Yeah. This
So-
one's different. Most time you have to like warm up your guests a little bit.
Yeah, everyone's like, when the podcast is over, they're like, I was so nervous. I was so nervous to do that. And most of the time I can't tell, but
Yeah.
I get it. When I was doing the first few episodes by myself, I was way nervous, and I was getting a lot of backlash. So I was like, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
But then you learn not to give a fuck, and then
That's
it's
awesome.
It's better. It's best to just have real conversation. So I think we've had that today.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to add? Anything you want to plug? What's going on in your life you want to promote?
Nothing.
Nothing.
No, like what is a normal plug on here? Subscribe on
Yeah,
YouTube.
follow my Instagram. Join
No.
the 300 followers that you have, or whatever.
No.
Subscribe. You have a YouTube?
Yeah, it was really old.
You don't post on a YouTube regularly
No,
anymore?
we used to for LCHB, but
L-
Layton City Homeboys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Why is that vaguely familiar to me?
I think you came down to my little basement studio once.
Once at your home.
Right.
Yeah.
It was like after some game or something.
You showed me your setup. This is the same setup that I had when I think I may have showed you. Maybe. This is the same setup I have, too. I just bought new microphones.
I like these.
Yeah, these are sweet.
I have a blue. It's USB, so it's not like this nice, like, yeah, it's digital. It's not like this where it's
With an
being
interface?
transferred from, what's the opposite of digital?
Analog?
Yeah, it's like analog transferred to digital.
Mm.
Something
I don't
like
know
that.
shit about this. All I know is this is all I've ever had.
Oh, okay.
My buddy Hayden,
Mm-hmm.
his wife, just started her podcast
Whoa, competition?
competition. Straight up,
Uh-oh.
and they're like, Caden's doing anti-Mormon. We're gonna do pro-Mormon.
Really?
No, I'm just
Oh.
kidding. She's way into health,
Health,
promoting
fitness.
health and fitness. Yeah, so I think that's gonna be her goal and her direction.
Ooh.
She just dropped her pilot yesterday or 2 days ago, and it's awesome. She's
Okay.
awesome. She's brilliant, and Hayden's brilliant too.
Yeah, he's well spoken. Like,
Yeah, he's so well spoken. Yeah,
yeah.
I have a lot of admiration for him. But also, you don't need to get your head any bigger than it is. You could. Never mind. He's awesome. In fact, I think we're gonna record again later this week, and
Oh, good.
try to do something a little more upbeat, a little funnier.
Yeah,
So
you guys are good together.
no, he's good, and I figure it out. I'm just trying. No, he's awesome.
You also need to get Josh Tesh on here.
I would love to. Yeah, you're gonna have to help me get in contact with him.
Yeah,
because I would love to talk to him
great guy.
as a missionary that we served
That's
together, but then we had
wild.
a transfer together for a couple days.
Hmm.
Or maybe
What's a
just
transfer?
day. I'm sorry, we had a exchange. So you have a companion that you're with for 6 to 12 weeks, and you get really sick of each other, so you can trade companions basically for a day or for a weekend or something. And I had one of those with Tesh.
Do you give him a rose? Like in
Yes,
The Bachelor?
absolutely. You choose them to become your new companion.
That's awesome.
No, it's mostly for like training purposes. So
Okay.
younger missionaries will go with more experienced ones, and in different areas just to get different feel and learn different things. I can't remember why I was with Tesh. I think maybe my companion was going home, and so was his, and we ended up together for the day. But I know his brother Spencer better
Oh, okay.
than Josh. I didn't know Josh very well in high school. I just knew he went to school, and I knew that he was that's Spencer's brother.
Mm-hmm.
But then listening to his podcast, it was interesting because a lot of the things he talks about are true, or at least have circulated through the mission while I was there, but then have kind of been distorted
Okay.
from what
So
from
you
how he
heard
tells the story.
rumors or something like
Oh
that?
yeah, I mean, any missionary that gets sent home is going
a
to be
big
talked
deal.
about. Yeah, it's a huge deal. It's a huge deal because it's like apostasy is a huge deal in the church. That's abandoning everything. I'm an apostate now for abandoning my belief and for abandoning my community and denouncing it. Yeah, I'm an apostate for sure. But now that doesn't have any weight against me because I don't believe that there's any legitimacy to it. But
Right.
when you believe there's legitimacy, then it's very daunting,
Yeah.
and you feel very sorry for that person that's
I
becoming
see.
an apostate. So
So did you get any clues when you were on this exchange? Like, oh, there's something different. Like he's thinking about different things, or he's trying to. Because, yeah, we don't have to spoil his episode or whatever, but it seemed to me that like sometimes he was trying to get those answers to the people that were asking those really challenging questions, and he was like, trying to be the person that could answer it for them and
Yeah.
give them something substantial. Did you ever like notice anything from him?
I did. Yeah. When I was with him for the day, every morning missionaries have personal study and companionship study, and then you prepare for the day for like lessons that you're going to teach, and then you go out.
Mm-hmm.
And in the morning, he was reading a book about Joseph Smith that I was unfamiliar with, and I was asking him about it, and he was just saying it was a history of Joseph. I don't even remember the book. I just remember it was some kind of history of Joseph Smith, but it wasn't canonized by the church.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, this is anti-Mormon literature. Assumed.
Yeah.
I have no idea what it was. It might have. I would have. Oh yeah, I have no idea. I won't assume. And I remember thinking, this is. I'm worried about him
Mm-hmm.
and reading all of this other material.
Oh,
So we spent a lot of time seeing
That would be
members in
hard.
the area. Yeah, and I
Like,
had no
already
idea. I was
knowing.
like, let's go find someone new. And he's like, I got people to see. So,
yeah.
and then I think he talked about it in the podcast about being a part of a Clash of Clans group
Oh yeah.
in the
Yeah.
mission field, and I had heard about it.
I remember him saying something about that.
Yeah, our mission had a Clash of Clans. They had rigged their iPads to get Clash of Clans.
Man.
And I think I asked
That
him about
sounds-
it, and he was showing me about it. And I was like, this kid's going to hell for sure.
Oh, he was a part of it?
He was in it.
Oh,
He
okay.
was in the Clash of Clans. Yeah, he showed me. It was hilarious. But yeah, I just remember thinking like, man, he's just an apostate missionary. Like I had that mindset. And now
Wow.
I feel guilty for judging a person that way because now I'm in the same boat and I
Yeah.
have a lot more perspective. But yeah, he was very intelligent. I don't remember much about.
Yeah, I looked up to him a lot.
Yeah, he
Or
was,
I still do.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't talked to him in years, but yeah,
I want to get in touch.
great
with him.
kid.
I would love
Great
to
guy.
have to pick his brain about what he learned and his experience with Mormon stories.
Yeah, you guys could talk more about like your mission and stuff.
Hell yeah.
That'd be cool.
I loved most of my mission. I have a lot of fond memories of that too. That's
good.
like another relation. That's probably the longest relationship I've been in was my mission. That was 2 years. I gave 2 years to something that I've never done before. And it was 99% of it was difficult and I didn't want to be there. And then the 1% was fun, happy, satisfying, joyful experience that probably outweighed all the negative stuff. So
As far as like time, like you had little slivers of like, oh, this is great. Or
yeah,
something.
it was like the overwhelming senses
Yeah.
of joy. Yeah,
That's
it
cool.
was awesome.
So you don't regret your mission, or I mean,
No.
how do you look at that now
don't-
that you've gone?
I don't regret it because I did it willfully, and I knew going home was an option. I decided I wasn't gonna go home, even regardless of how bad I wanted to. I didn't. I didn't think it was. It was just. There was more good coming out of it than negative. So I have no ill feelings towards it.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good experience. I think there's different ways to get the same experience that are not missionary related, that are less gruesome on a person.
That's probably true.
I have no idea in reality, but
You can't. The tough thing is, it's like that mystery, that unknown. Like you
Oh,
can't.
yeah.
Sometimes you can't seek it. It just has to come to you. You know.
well, yeah, I put myself in a very vulnerable position. Any missionary that does that. They
Yeah.
make themselves very vulnerable, and that in itself can be very valuable, especially when you're surrounded by strong people that are willing to support you and help you,
Mhm.
which I had. I had a lot of helping hands to get me through my mission, and I had a good experience. I don't think everyone has a good experience, but I did. I don't regret it. I would not want to do it again. I told my dad, or my dad asked me, how much would you have to get paid to go out right now for another 2 years? And I can't remember. I think I said $100,000. For a
I'd do
year.
it for $100,000 for a year.
Yeah. Yeah. That I don't think I would do it.
Well,
for any
actually, no.
less.
I take that back,
I
please.
You just have to go out and sell. And I did that. I did summer sales
Just every day.
every day.
Like-
Yeah. You got to do it every day, and I did it every day, and I know I can, so I would do it but I'm not gonna do it for fucking charity again. I paid $10,000 to. Well, I didn't pay. My family supported me.
10,000.
$10,000 is what it
Whoa.
costs to be missionary.
I didn't know that.
Then now it was $400 a month. Then now I think it's like $550. So it's probably closer to 15 grand. I think I don't know. I know it's been raised, so it's not cheap. But it's also not as expensive as living the way I live right now. I have to pay for car. I have to pay for rent. I have to pay for internet. I paid for
Yeah.
my Xbox.
Insurance.
Insurances. Fucking insurance.
Yeah.
Health shit.
But it's good to hear Because I know a fair amount of people who've been on missions and now they're not part of the church and they're just like, oh, I wasted my time and stuff like that. And I don't know. I feel bad for them.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. Maybe I'm like, oh, maybe there's a way you could just see it in a different light, you know?
Yeah.
But
I think it's like
if they feel like they waste their time, I guess that's okay.
and it's hard to take that. It's hard to change that perspective. But it's like I was saying earlier. I think the people that are bitter, the bitter ex-Mormons, are mostly bitter because of information being withheld from them. And I think missionaries that have left the church kind of feel the same way. They went out, dedicated all this time when they feel like they could have been spent better doing something else.
Sure.
I don't think if I wouldn't have gone on a mission, I would have been at college doing Lord knows what. You know,
Right.
fucking
It teaches
around.
you a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
Discipline.
I had a lot of exactly. I learned some valuable lessons. I think it was a good experience overall.
That's cool.
People that I think the bitter missionaries, ones that were treated poorly, probably went to Central America or South America and got some disgusting diseases and their
Ooh.
lives. Yeah, like I have friends that went to Central America that got parasites. And Kurt Bell got
Right.
malaria
Oh.
in the Dominican Republic.
I never heard this.
Oh yeah, Kurt Bell almost died in the Dominican Republic from malaria. So
That's intense.
and an ex-Mormon, bitter ex-Mormon, be like, yeah, fuck the mission. That was stupid that I almost
Right.
died for that. But Kurt, who's an active Mormon, I'm sure would be like, yeah, I almost died for that, and it was worth it. You know.
Yeah.
So I guess it's perspective.
It is.
Negative people versus positive people, for the most part. Maybe. I don't know.
Cool.
I gotta wrap this up.
Yeah, man.
2
course.
hours, 33 minutes, 14
Wow.
seconds.
Is that a new record? I hope not.
I think it's close. I think the longest one I had
Hudge was pretty long.
Hudge was just over 2 hours. And I had another one. I think the one that I did by myself was just over 2. I don't think it was this long. I think this might be the longest one.
Well,
2.5.
Feel free to cut out anything,
I'm not going
man.
to. You know what I do? I hit stop, and then I hit post.
That's awesome. That's bold. Though.
I do no editing. Yeah. The people get to deal with the clicking from the first 30 minutes for a minute, and then hear my mom come into the room. I think it's funny.
Yeah.
You know, it's raw. It's
Adds
raw,
a little
dude.
character.
Yeah, it's character. It also is kind of lazy because I don't want to go back and listen to 2.5 hours of this. I don't get paid to fucking do this. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not going to do any difference for me, so I'm just going to post it.
Okay. Thanks a lot, man.
Anything
I
else?
enjoyed talking with you.
Okay, dude. I always enjoy this, man. Next time, whenever you want it next time, let me know.
Okay.
All right, dude.
Okay, dude.
Thanks. Hey, everyone that did listen and that made it through all of this 2.5 hours, thank you. Thanks for tuning in. And
Thanks, you guys.
yeah, if you want to donate to the charity that I mentioned earlier, then reach out to me and I will be happy to get you more information and let you know how you can donate. Thanks.